Yeah.
I'm just hoping my phone doesn't die this session.
Yeah, no dead phones, no dogs eating character sheets. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Nature Check, the show where you come for the game and stay for the science, and also all of the weird things we talk about. We're so glad that you're here with us. So first we'll do some introductions. My name is Sheryl, and I'm a PhD student in ecology at the University of Illinois at Chicago. When I'm not doing research, I make videos on biology, ecology, and environmental science over on the Roving Naturalist on the YouTubes. I'm also the GM for the game, but now I'm going to have the players introduce themselves, starting with the top left-hand part of the screen. That's Joe.
Hi, I'm Joe. I am a doctoral student at the University of Wyoming. I am currently studying why weeds hurt crops, as well as some insecticide toxicology work that hopefully we'll be chatting about later in the episode. I just posted it on Twitter, so yep, go
Neat.
Check it out.
Awesome. And next is Nancy.
Hello, my name is Nancy, as Sheryl just said. I'm an entomologist, which means that I study bugs, and I live in Quito, Ecuador, where I conduct my own personalized tours of the Ecuadorian ecosystems focused on ecology, conservation, and insects.
All right, and Peter.
Hey everybody, my name is Peter Coffey. I am an agriculture extension educator in Maryland, which means I teach people about agriculture, but my background is also in entomology, so my focus is generally on pest management, insect pest management. And I'm currently broadcasting tonight from my childhood bedroom, so you can see some of my early biological art. It's a squid here.
Oh.
Back when I wanted to be a marine biologist. I think this is a boat, and this is the top of the water, and a dolphin.
Oh, nice.
So,
I found...
Is it a boat? It looks kind of like it could be a whale, maybe, with like a flipper.
I thought it was a paramecium.
Don't criticize my art, Sheryl. That's very.
I wasn't criticizing. I was just asking.
Put me on blast on the internet like that for my art ability.
I found like a piece of art from when I was like 5, and it was a swallowtail butterfly, and I had written on the side of it, it was like, this part is supposed to be orange, but I don't have orange. And I was like, and it seemed like, it was like, so people would ask me like, have you always liked bugs? And I'm like, I don't remember. And I found that piece of paper, and I was like, apparently yes. The answer is yes.
I love it. And last but not least, Ryan.
Hi, everybody. I'm Ryan. I'm an entomologist. I live in Pittsburgh, where I am the Associate Director of Integrated Pest Management at a conservatory and botanical garden. So I do basically all aspects of plant health, from the entomology to plant pathology, plant nutrition, as well as urban and structural pests and all of those things.
Cool. All right. If you're watching us right now live on Twitch or Periscope, it looks like we've got at least one person watching on Periscope. Hey, thanks for being here. Well, we really appreciate you watching if you're watching now or if you're watching later. We really hope you're going to enjoy what you see this evening. And if you have any questions for the cast, please put them in the chat on Twitch or Periscope, or you can tweet them at us. And I will be doing my best to catch your questions in the chat, and we'll try to answer them mid-game or when we take our halfway break or something like that. So feel free to ask us all the questions or put us on blast for our art talents or whatever. Please be kind. If you really like what you see and you like watching us, please consider coming to our first ever live in-person event. That's right, the cast of Nature Check plus 2 special guest players will be playing Dungeons & Dragons at the same table in the party room of the Urban Chestnut Brewing Company's Grove Beer Hall location on Saturday, November 16th at 6 p.m. Central Time. There will be beer discounts for those who come to watch the game in the beer hall, and there will be opportunities for live audience participation. So please come join us if you can. But of course, if you can't be with us in person that night, the game will still be streamed live on Twitch and Periscope as well. So you'll still get to see the hilarity even if you're not in the room with us. The last bit of housekeeping is the socials. You can find Nature Check on Twitter at @CheckNature, so please follow us there for updates and things. And please subscribe or follow or whatever to Nature Check both on Twitch and on YouTube. Every game session will be uploaded and accessible on the YouTube channel, and you'll also be able to find our after show recaps, our nature chats on the YouTube channel. So please go check that out. You can also access the game and the nature chats in podcast form on Podbean, Google Play, iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, and Spotify. So I have done my best to make sure that we are in all the podcast places. As a friendly PSA from a DM who got very scared this afternoon, please, please, please remember to periodically back up all of the documents on your digital devices. Today's PSA. Yep. And is there anything anybody else would like to plug?
Can that be how we end every episode from now on? I feel like that's a really solid
back up your devices.
Don't forget to back up your devices.
Actually, it might be fun at the end of every episode just to give like a piece of random advice,
I
scientific or otherwise. So,
yeah.
Like, Sawbones has "Don't drill a hole in your head." I feel like
very
that's
good
advice.
Nice. Back up your data, back up your game files, back up your devices. All right. In that case, if nobody else has anything they'd like to plug right now, we will get started. Civilizations grew, flourished, and fell on the continents of Lacedas for hundreds of years. But in the year 885, everything changed. Where once the gods of the pantheon held sway over various continents and made their presence known in frequent and tangible ways to mortals, now a dread silence and emptiness reigned. Civilizations fell into internal turmoil, and tensions mounted between empires. The faiths of nations were shaken, and new versions of old religions began to sprout. Spells once commonplace and relied upon, those that required the gods' particular attentions, no longer functioned. Access to and contact with all other planes disappeared or seemed blocked. The continent of Arda, still colloquially known as the God's Garden, was once the sacred and protected realm of Obadhai and Elana. At the moment of the loss, the strong protective spells surrounding the continent fell, and the shores and interior became accessible to any who wished entry on whatever business. In 952, a ship from the Tenebrian Navy took shelter in the large river mouth at the southeastern corner of Arda, and the sailors erected a small fort for protection. Over the years, the fort grew into a town, and the town grew into a small city. While Tenebria officially holds no claim over Arda, no outside nation has yet claimed dominion over the continent, New Sechester is, for all intents and purposes, a Tenebrian colony. Now, it is early evening on Hextum, the 24th day of Mistrun in the year 972. A lot has happened in one day. This morning, you all began an investigation into the murder that led to the incarceration of Kay's brother, Jay. First, you went to the city jail and Kay talked to Jay. Then, you went to the home of Janet Green and spoke to both the young lady and her father, who informed you that she would not be able to provide Jay with an alibi due to some complications. You went on to look for information about those complications, then visited the scene of the murder. Luckily for you, the weather has been mild in the days between when the murder occurred and your investigation, meaning that Kay was able to locate some pieces of glass and a cork in the alleyway. With help from the apothecary Elsa, Fletcher was able to identify the cork and glass as having come from a bottle of alchemist's fire. You also visited Pops, the other apothecary in town, but he was unable to help you determine where the chemical mixture may have come from, as it's a very common device in this world. Now, you have returned to the Green home and entered Hudson's office as requested. As you closed the door, you saw a girl sitting in a chair in a corner of the room. She seems to be of indeterminate age, with long blue-black hair that she wears in a thick braid wrapped with leather. Her black eyes are thin and almond-shaped and look well in her almost elvish face. She is perhaps 5'5", but still manages to command the room. And here we are.
I need my notebook. I'm so bad at getting organized.
Mr. Green, who is joining us tonight? You didn't say we would be having extra company.
Yes. This is the person that I said I hoped we would be able to talk to. Well, I've had some bad luck with my ships and my trade recently. Some storms at sea and things happen. And I lost some ships. And that means that I now owe some people some money. And he just sort of gestures helplessly at the girl in the chair. He seems very much at a loss for what to do or what to say.
So you owe her money?
And he just sort of nods.
I don't see the connection here between. I mean, I empathize certainly with your financial troubles, but what does this all have to do with the murder?
Well, I was. It was made clear to me that, well, my debt needs to be paid one way or another, and the ways that it might be paid might be less pleasant if my daughter were to testify.
Why?
The girl sort of clears her throat and says, I'm not sure it's really any of your business. Why?
It's my brother. It's all of my business.
Did somebody in here kill Jay? I'm just curious. I'm speaking in character, by the way.
What was the question?
Did somebody in here kill Jay? Just out of curiosity? I mean, let's just cut to the chase here.
The young man is still alive as far as I know.
Yeah, he's in
Tim, sorry. I had that written down wrong. Did somebody in here kill Tim?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
I mean, if they did, I don't think they would just be like, yes, I definitely did it. I volunteered.
I mean, sometimes that happens.
Yeah, but not anyone who's good at it.
I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with your human customs, but in most dwarven traditions, it's appropriate to introduce oneself when meeting a new person or group of people. My name is Cedric.
My name is Kay, and it's my brother who's about to be framed for murder.
Yes, Kay, I know who you are. I was hoping that the young lady would...
Well, I was introducing myself to her. Maybe she doesn't
Oh.
know. She does now. We're going to talk to me about you like you're not here. But hi, I'm Kay.
And I'm Siwan. It's a pleasure, Cedric. Kay.
Well, these are our companions, Lucanus and Fletcher.
Does Cedric have a cold? Sorry.
I also have a cold.
Cedric has forgotten his character voice.
Aw, dwarven sniffles.
Cedric, does this really seem like the kind of person you want to have know your name?
I mean, there's never a wrong time to be polite.
Well, next time maybe don't just go around giving my personal information to shady people.
No, I'm sorry. I didn't realize I'm sorry. I don't know how these things work.
Shady. It sounds like you'd want to hurt my feelings.
Well, it sounds like you want Kay's brother to end up dead. So I think what we really need to talk about is there anything that can be done for you to let all of this go by and let Mr. Hudson's daughter testify?
Oh, a trade. Well, I am a businesswoman, so I would be interested in that. Hudson Green owes me a debt. But if that debt were somehow insured to be paid off, I would no longer hold a claim over him and his family.
How much is it? How
What
much
kind
is
of debt are we talking about?
Yeah. Like, and how can you put a price on a human life?
Is this money or
mean,
like we just owe you a favor sort of deal?
Oh,
I mean, Kay, you put a price on a human life by giving people gold and wanted posters. It's actually fairly simple.
It was a rhetorical question. Thank you. For being very tall, many things go over your head. Impressive.
oh snap! Oh boy.
Kay's in a mood. We're all in a mood.
To be fair, she has reason to be.
Yeah.
Right?
He has reason to be annoyed.
For when Cedric got let off the hook. Congratulations, Cedric.
Cedric, not the worst in the room.
Ooh, that bar is set solo. What was your question? There's a lot of people talking at once.
Agreed. What kind of debt? Favor debt or money debt or both?
Oh, honey. Hudson lost all of my stuff. All of the goods that I had on his ships that were supposed to be transported for trade. I am out a lot of gold, and I would very much like it back.
I mean, to be fair, it doesn't seem exactly like his fault, because it is like the ocean and stuff, but alright, how much stuff?
28,000 gold.
That's a decent amount of stuff.
It is.
And I don't understand how his daughter testifying will get you 28,000 gold back.
Lucanus digs into his pocket, pulls out a single gold piece, and just slowly puts it back in.
It's not for you to understand the intricacies of the contracts that people sign or the arrangements that people make, but suffice to say that if the Greens displease me in some way, I'm fully ready to seize all of their family assets in order to start paying back this debt.
Yeah, but what does my brother have to do with any of this? Like, what is your grudge against him? And that very much is my business.
Does it matter?
It does, actually.
He's just a person.
Yeah, but he's a person that's close to me. Do you not have anyone close to in your life? Like, no one?
You're
I think that
sweet.
smile's the answer.
You're
Not
sweet.
even one? Wow. Well, that sounds depressing. But for those of us with, like, family and stuff, those people are important, whether it be one person to you or not. So, like, if he's only one person, what does it matter to you if he's dead? He didn't do anything to you. The Greens did something to you. And they didn't even do anything. The ocean did something to you.
Okay, I think probably what's happening here is somebody else is responsible for the young man's death. Your brother is just an unfortunate patsy. Is that not the case?
I'm impressed that Cedric knows the word patsy.
I don't even know the word patsy.
I know somebody named
Fall
Patsy.
Man.
Okay, I know 2 languages. Take that.
It means something different in Dwarvish. Is that the lay of the land here?
Does
Young
it matter?
miss?
Yes?
Perhaps a different avenue of conversation might be more useful. Do you represent an organization, or are you an individual interest?
Does it matter? I like your
Yes.
quiet friend. And she's looking back at Fletcher. You got right to the point. Do you want to make a trade or not?
Well, my question to you is, do you really think anyone has 28,000 gold just sitting around?
Oh no, that sounds unreasonable. I wouldn't even have that myself, even if my trade goods had made it where they were supposed to go. Money changes hands all the time. What I'm looking for is an insurance that the debt will be paid off.
And the Greens can't give that to you?
She sort of looks over at Hudson, who's just like... She goes, well, the Greens appreciate a comfortable living, and with the loss of his ships, Mr. Green has made me understand that he doesn't necessarily have a whole lot to surrender to paying back this debt without sacrificing their comfort. So really, the choice now is either that they give me things and reduce their quality of life, or that they find some other way of paying off the debt. Mr. Green seems to have a lot of faith in you all, and you do look like capable people. I believe he is hoping that you will be his insurance.
What, you
So
want to
Kay's brother is going to be killed so that he can keep, what, eating a roast every night and sleeping on a big puffy bed? I'm really glad the new Sechester has capitalism. That's really great.
Our conversation during the very first episode, guys.
Did everyone stop hating on my town?
Your town is what's killing your brother.
Ugh, I get it, but we're not all like this.
I don't know. I like this town. I don't know. I like this town. It has plenty of work for me, so...
Thanks, Lucanus.
Lucanus is so optimistic.
Yeah, to be clear, I'm the only one that's paid you since you've been here.
As I said, lots of work.
That's not true. You guys got paid by Elsa when you brought her the plants that you foraged, and you would have gotten paid by Carissa too if you had known enough to take the bracelet.
We knew enough. We just have morals, damn it.
Yeah, we didn't want to take a family heirloom.
Yeah.
I will have you know, Cedric, that I have pawned plenty of weapons since I've been here and got lots of gold from that.
Congratulations. We're so happy for you.
The people I've defeated have paid me for the privilege.
Anyway,
Right.
what kind of things can we do for this insurance? Like what, you want us to go out adventuring and stuff? Do you need stuff from the wilderness?
And and if you want your money, I mean, how quickly do you want your money? What are your terms of this insurance? I mean, I turned to Hudson, I'm like, you really can't set up some kind of plan to just give her money in installments?
He sort of looks at you and he's like, I don't have very much right now. I'm keeping my family here, but I lost all of those ships and I have other people besides her that I need to pay, and it's very complicated, and, well...
So, then Siwan, what do you want?
Well, as I said, I'm a businesswoman and I run trade, so
Yada, yada, yada. When do you want your money?
Well, I would consider you all signing on to work for me as the insurance, and yes, you would go out and find trade goods and bring them back to my partner who runs the books for the business, and you would bring back trade goods and he would tally the prices, and you would work for us until the debt has been paid off.
And upon agreement to this, the restriction on Mr. Hudson's daughter is gone. And in terms of trying to save Jay's life.
Yes, if you all make this agreement, then Janet Green is free to do whatever she wants. Although I guess she already has been.
Well,
Nancy's face.
well,
Duly
not that I
noted.
feel like getting involved in even more shady things, but you all, I think we kind of have to do this.
I mean, it's my brother. I should do it, but I don't want to drag the rest of you into this, except for maybe Cedric, because he dragged us all into his shindig. So Cedric is coming along with me, but the other two of you are kind of like, I don't know, it's like it's not your brother. And as it was so eloquently put, he's just one other person, so what does it matter?
We can't hear you, Cedric. Ruh-roh.
Maybe he has it on mute? No, there.
Nope, can't hear you. Cedric's new headphones are acting up.
He accidentally cast silence on himself.
He can hear us, though.
Which I'm sure Kay just loves.
Yeah.
Right?
Well...
Oh, I mean, there's money in it, so I'm down.
Like, close it and then call back. That worked for Joe last time.
How about that?
Hey!
Yeah.
There we go.
What did you do? Did you accidentally push the mute button?
Yeah, there's so many buttons on these new headphones. I've touched that you want Cedric along. Okay, I feel like our relationship has developed so much.
Aww.
Until, like, I helped you rescue a mermaid, so now you're rescuing my brother. Tit for tat kind of relationship?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I feel like wanting to save your brother's life, your annoyance for Cedric. Apparently, one of those has outweighed the other.
Yeah,
so,
apparently. I love my brother a lot.
I just want to remind everyone, both the players and the viewers and listeners, that, when PCs develop NPC characters that they want to have strong relationships with, the DM will take advantage of that.
Can I do a perception check on the lady just to size her up very subtly?
Are you interested in... So perception would give you, like, more details about her physical appearance, or, like, sense motive might give you more about her attitude.
Combat abilities.
Combat abilities. So yeah, are you looking for, like... I guess you're looking for, like, physical appearance attributes?
Physical appearance attributes that could give clues as to either weapons or magical abilities.
Okay.
An ocular pat down.
An ocular pat down. I love that. Yeah, go ahead and give me a perception check then.
All right.
An ocular pat down. That is awesome.
I got a 14.
A 14. Yeah, so, as this conversation is happening, you sort of are tuning out the argument and scrutinizing her a little more. Like I said, she's small-ish, and it's really difficult for you to tell exactly how old she is. She is human, but she just doesn't... It's hard to pin down, like, a year or even a decade for her really well. She is not exceptionally muscular, but you feel like she's probably rather nimble, might be a good way of putting it.
You called her a girl when we walked in.
Yeah.
She's an adult though, right? Like she's not like you say it's hard to tell but she's not like 16.
I mean, she could be a teenager, she could be in her 20s, she could be in her 30s. I mean, she's not like a child, but whether she's a teenager or like an adult is a little difficult to tell.
Well, I guess, do we sign something with you, or is this going to be a verbal agreement?
Have you all decided that this is what you'd like to do?
I don't see another course of action.
I mean, I don't like the idea of being strong-armed by a child. Why, Mr. Hudson, why are you so afraid of this young woman?
Like I said, I owe her, her and her business partner a lot of money, and I owe a lot of people a lot of money, and so I'm sort of trying to keep all of this embarrassing business failure quiet-ish. And also, like I said, I want my family to be comfortable and safe. I care deeply for my wife and my daughter, and I don't want to lose all of this and have them cast out into the street.
I lived out on the street for a few years of my life. It wasn't that bad.
This is classic. If you've ever read anything by Dickens, the people are like, "Oh no, we're suddenly poor. We can only afford one servant," and I'm just like, ah. But yeah, that's like basically the vibe you're getting from this guy. Is like he's only ever known this kind of life, and so like he just can't.
Can't even.
Can't
you literally can't even.
Literally can't even.
But certainly there are authorities in the city who could help with this situation. I mean, this is blackmail.
Do you guys not have civil courts here in Arda? I feel like Saul Goodman could really be of service here.
I'm not familiar with Mr. Goodman.
Your voice is just all over the place.
All over the place. I'm sorry. Sorry. I'll find it again somewhere.
He's like Sophie Turner in an X-Men movie. Oh! I have bad taste in cinema.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're running out of time, so, like, I don't know, like, how long do you think it'll take for us to repay you, really, like years? I mean, I'm up for it. I'll sign it. Like, I don't want my brother to be murdered for a thing that he didn't do.
Well, how long it takes really depends on how good a job you do, but if you're ready to sign, and she sort of leans down and pulls a sheaf of parchment out of a pouch and spreads it out on the desk in front of you. There it is.
Can we read it? What does it say?
So do you have
always read the terms and conditions?
the fine quill print. Do you have any sort of experience reading legalese?
No, I believe I can read and write English.
Yeah, you can read and write common. Yeah.
Yeah. And a couple of other languages, but not legalese.
Yeah, well. So give me just a straight intelligence check then, as you read it.
Okay. Straight intelligence check. I have this somewhere in my new intelligence. I haven't used this one before. I don't know where it is. Oh, the list is alphabetical. No, it's not.
No. Intelligence won't be a skill. I just mean roll a d20 and add your intelligence modifier.
Oh, I see.
Sorry.
I understand. Oh, I understand now.
There isn't like a knowledge law skill on the sheet, so we're just improvising.
What? There isn't.
Nope. Improv, the number one most important skill.
I got a 5.
Awesome. There are
words on the paper.
There are a lot of big words and a lot of sentences where you're like reading and wondering where the period is in the sentence. But basically,
what even are this?
Yeah.
Can Fletcher assist?
Can Fletcher assist?
Yeah,
you can take a read through it as well.
If I see Kay getting like flustered, and I'm like, let me try to help.
I'm having a bad day, okay? Like, life is hard. My brother's in jail. Like, reading is hard.
It is.
18 total.
18. Yeah, so basically the gist that you two are able to read through together is that
like
yeah, so this is basically an agreement that the undersigned agree to work for and complete any tasks requested by the other signatory or the business.
Does the business have a name?
No. Until such time as the 28,000 gold debt is paid off. The undersigned are not restricted in their activities while completing the contract, i.e. you may complete jobs for your own gain or for other entities at the same time, but if you fail to complete tasks requested as part of fulfillment of this contract, there may be
deadly consequences.
There may be consequences. You would be considered in void of the contract, and then, et cetera, forfeiting things and such.
Well, I mean, it seems like it kind of sucks, but it seems like we can also do stuff at the same time. So hopefully it won't, impede. I mean, Is there a line for each one of us to sign?
Yes.
Okay. I was like, I will do it, but I don't really expect anyone else besides Cedric to do it with me.
Can we?
I helped you save your mermaid fairy tale princess. You get to help me save my brother.
Could we add perhaps some kind of guarantee clause in here that the amount owed to you will not increase, so that we are not forever stuck in a contract because of a loophole in the amount?
Oh, absolutely. No, it's spelled out right there. 28,000 and I'll be happy.
Kay just like grabs the pen and like scribbles her name on it. Cedric is like, your things are not working. It must be New Sechester. Everything's shit in this town.
I'm getting bad reception in my helmet.
Yeah. Cedric keeps casting silence on himself accidentally. His hammer's malfunctioning.
Well, I guess I'm like reading it next to Kay, so Fletcher just kind of shrugs and he's satisfied knowing that it's not going to be like an endless thing, and takes the quill and signs.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm new to this town, so Miss Kay and Mr. Fletcher, if you think this is the correct answer, then the correct way forward, then I'll sign too.
I don't know if it's like the morally correct answer, but it's one that will prevent my brother from being murdered. So here we are.
Lucanus just sort of picks up a quill. Sure, I'll go with them, and just signs the word Lucanus.
All right, well, in that case, it's a pleasure doing business with all of you. So she blots the signatures dry, and she rolls it back up and puts it away in her pouch, and, well, I guess that means it's time for your first assignment.
Wait, Fletcher, don't you want to, like, take one of those photographic picture things of this contract, so that way, like, you know, we can reference it too, maybe might be a good thing to have? I'm not sure.
I mean, well, so how long is the contract? Is it like pages and pages? I mean, we just read it.
It's like one thing of parchment.
One parchment?
Yeah.
It is a scroll worth of words.
It's just one standard parchment a la Harry Potter. Didn't they have to write? They had to write assignments for Snape, like multi-page parchment things, right?
I feel like it was measured in like centimeters or something like that.
Yeah, in the Philosopher's Stone it
That
was.
seems reasonable.
Yeah. I guess I assume inches in the American versions.
Yeah, it was.
In Fantastic
I
Beasts.
feel so cheated.
I guess that depends. So if I want to make a copy, if it's just taking down words, Sheryl, how long would that take?
What did we say the rule was on how long it took to do?
It all depends on like the amount of detail being like trying to capture.
Yeah, so basically
So like if it's just writing, like I don't care about the surroundings and anything about it.
Yeah, well, see, so I guess basically that would be about the same as you hand copying it, right? Like, it's not like... Yeah, there isn't really a good way to make an equivalence of that to, like, drawing a picture.
Is there a copy-paste spell in D&D?
Unfortunately not.
Control C.
Could she just give us a copy?
Unfortunately, I don't have a copy. There's just the one that you signed.
Like convenient.
Well, I mean, it takes a long time to write one of these out, and I had not very much time. A short notice. I was only told today that Mr. Green might have an alternative.
Well, alright, here we are. Hold you to your word, I suppose.
Now whose character voice is wondering?
Blah, 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 blah. I'm actually sick, so.
Oh.
So.
Oh no.
See?
Okay.
All right, good. Team.
Then perhaps we can. I mean, while we get our assignment, I think there's someone who should probably head to the jail and request to give her testimony.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, Mr. Hudson, if you want to tell your daughter to she is free to go.
Oh, of course. As soon as we're done here, I'll tell her. I assume that she'll just be able to testify during the trial tomorrow? Or is that not... I have not been party to many court cases, but I'm assuming that she can just testify as part of the trial, yes?
Yeah, and there should just be a trial tomorrow, and
If they allow surprise witnesses. Otherwise, she might need to be known.
I'm sure we'll be able to figure out something.
Yeah, rich people can always figure out something.
So, what do we have to do?
He did know about the trial, and he did know about the lack of evidence and stuff, so...
Yeah, he probably has dinner every other week with the magistrate and plays
over
cards or whatever, yeah.
They probably have an illegal gambling ring somewhere.
Yeah.
Did we ever get the girl's name? The girl that we're doing the business with?
Forever to try.
Siwan.
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 It's been right.
So what do we have to do, and where do we find your associate that we drop things off with?
Well, what I need right now is something special, something beautiful, something not just anyone can get. So now I'm glad I've got you folks on my side.
There's the sunset outside.
I've heard stories that in the forests to the west, there are beautiful parrots with stunning red feathers. Bring as many of those parrots as you can to my business partner, Thornborough. He's staying in a room at the Lux Rum. Thornborough does the books, so he'll be able to tell you how much of the debt you clear with the parrots you bring, and he'll let you know what else you can do for us.
Do you want, like, the whole parrot or just the feathers?
I mean, we'll find something to do with them regardless of how much you bring.
All right.
All right, that sounds easy enough.
Well, in that case, it's been a pleasure meeting you all, and I'm sure it'll be a pleasure doing business with you. And she's gonna...
Something like that.
Stand up and sort of maneuver around all of you and exit through the door.
Well, Mr. Green, I do appreciate the fact that we were able to work something or other out.
Yes, thank you. I am incredibly ashamed that we had to solve it like this. This is not at all what I ever would have hoped for or what I wanted for my family, from my friends, or for anyone who knows us in any way.
Well, maybe one day when you're back on your feet, you'll be able to help pay us back for what we're doing for you.
Of course, yes. I need to sort out my affairs and figure out some next steps, maybe get some new ships or find some other safer way of transporting my goods, but yes, I will definitely be in contact with you as things get sorted out.
Yeah. Thank you.
Great.
Just gonna leave, I guess.
Yeah.
And you leave.
And we leave.
Da-da-da.
Are we out of earshot now?
Yeah. I mean, you can tell me you are wherever you are if you want to start talking.
Okay.
Because so basically there was that like long hallway and then just like the front door and then you'd be back out on the street in the upper class quarter.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
So
just out of curiosity, how is this not a problem that assassination can't solve?
I was thinking about that myself, honestly.
I don't know how I feel about the word assassination, but I do feel that a contract made in duress is not
fair.
Not valid.
So a well-placed fireball or alchemist's fire could destroy a contract very easily.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so here's the thing. The reason why we're in this is because of Kay's brother. And as soon as Mr. Green's daughter testifies tomorrow, he's off the hook. So what's really keeping us from, either sneaking in and destroying the contract, or better yet, killing the person who Mr. Green owes a debt to? Because this doesn't really involve us.
Like, to be honest, I feel much better about murdering these two sleazeballs than murdering a whole bunch of parrots.
Although it does sound like an organization that could bring about some swift revenge. Could end up Jay still dead, and perhaps also the Hudsons, and maybe also us.
That is true.
We should definitely find out more about this organization, because if it's just this Siwan woman and her
partner,
then I think we can take them. But perhaps they're part of a larger criminal element.
Maybe we should get the parrots and then bring them back, and that would help us get in the sleuthing and stuff.
I guess you're right. Doing more reconnaissances. That's a good place to start on the reconnaissance.
Yeah, see, Lucanus, you're, like, big and scary, but, like, I am not big and scary. And unlike you, I also have a family here. So, like, I'd also like them to not be murdered, which is how we got ourselves into this mess in the first place.
No, that's fair.
So many Prowells, so
you
little
have a
time.
family. Yeah.
Kay has all the feelings right now.
Hey, look, the other three of us were very considerate and are, not having a family that we're worried about getting murdered.
It's the best way to make a D&D character. No, all of my family and friends and loved ones died before the campaign started, so you can't blackmail me.
Like, what?
Yeah.
Or they're at least on another continent.
Yeah, no, my character is all tragic backstory. So.
What? Spoiler alert!
I thought that was known, because nobody.
He's been super dark and brooding already, guys. Come on.
Yeah. Come on.
I just assumed he was a teenager.
I'm older than you.
Aren't you older than everyone by a couple centuries?
Yeah,
you're like. I forget how old you are. You're really old though.
I want to say I'm 200.
Not quite that old. But,
not quite
well,
that old.
I don't want to keep talking about it because we'll give it away.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
It's important.
So, anyways, yeah. So,
let's just wait until the trial tomorrow, I guess, and take it from there.
Yeah.
Take it one step at a time.
We can meet in the morning and decide our next move. Sounds like we have several things going on out beyond the city.
Can we testify? Because we found that bottle with the alchemist's fire, right? So if Janet is like, hey, there's this alibi, and we're like, we found this alchemist fire, which is odd, wouldn't that also be good?
But the thing is, the alchemist fire isn't odd. It's so common in the town that pretty much anyone can buy it.
Next to a burn victim that they're blaming a dragon kid kind of on?
I mean, that's not odd, but for a completely different reason.
No, I think that's valuable information. It provides an alternate solution to the context.
Yeah, sure, we can go test it. I mean, I think testifying's a good idea. We should go do it.
Yeah. How do we put ourselves in as witnesses?
I mean, if
what
we
time's
just
the trial tomorrow morning? 10? 9?
You're the local.
I don't know. I haven't had someone on for murder, and like this, I'm usually not interested in trial, so it's not like I show up, and if it wasn't obvious, I'm not a lawyer by how badly I read that stupid document.
It's okay, Kay. You're
Is
upset.
there a newspaper
What's
around?
going on right now?
Is there a newspaper?
Or like, how do they get their news in this town?
We could just walk by the courthouse and ask, what time is the trial tomorrow?
Yeah, that's a
Oh.
good idea.
So whatever
and then
guard
can we
is
also register
outside-
ourselves as witnesses? I'm sure that's how these things work.
I'm sure there'll be a guard outside or somebody who will know.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. Let's do that.
All right, what are you doing? You're going to the...
Yeah.
I'm like, wait, there's so many things. You're gonna walk past the court.
Courthouse.
Okay.
See.
Yeah, so at this point, it's pretty late in the evening. So as you walk past the court building, you don't really see anyone very obviously, like, if you were looking for, like, a guard on the steps or anything. There's not anyone very obviously stationed.
Well,
Is there
maybe-
anybody milling around?
Not obviously. Weren't you listening?
I don't know. Maybe
You're looking
we...
for people, like, loitering in front of the court like you guys are doing?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I see them. They're us. These are them. These are the drones you're looking for.
We go up and knock on the courthouse doors.
Sure, yeah. Alright, let's see. Yeah, so you, sorry, I'm reading things. Okay. Yeah, so you knock on the door. Boom, boom, boom. And, how long are you planning on waiting by the door after you knock?
I mean, not that long. Kind of looking in and see, does somebody...
Sure.
Is there any activity in the building?
Yeah, so about, maybe...
Kay pushes her ear against the door.
Yeah. So you, about maybe almost a minute passes, and then the door, you hear some unlocking happening on the other side, and the door does open. And you see sort of a shorter man open the door, maybe like mid-30s, chestnut brown hair and like a ponytail, little pointed goatee, and he's got kind of like slightly misproportioned limbs. And his face gives the mild impression of a rodent. So he's got like large front teeth, little pointed nose, dark sort of quick moving eyes, and he sticks his head out and says, "Yes, can I help you?"
Yeah, we just had a quick question. Sorry, what time is the trial tomorrow? And can we sign up as witnesses?
Who are you? And what trial? And what?
The trial where Jay is going to be tried tomorrow.
Oh, the
murder.
The murder.
Yeah, the murder
trial.
trial.
The case against Jay Prowell. Yes.
Yeah, that one.
That'll be first thing in the morning. And who are you?
I'm his sister, and I would like to testify.
Oh. Yes, all right. He sort of fumbles for a notepad, and so your name?
Kay Prowell.
And how do you spell that?
Kae.
And he starts scribbling. And you said you'd like to testify? Are you testifying for or against the defendant?
I'm testifying for him that he did not do the murder.
All right, I will.
Kay does not know legal terms. Watch,
She's like,
watch for SVU.
Yes. All right. I have written that down. Is there anything else I can help you with?
Nope, that's it. Thank you.
Of course.
Appreciate you coming out, even though obviously it was closed. I do appreciate that.
Of course. Good night.
Night.
And he sort of backs up and shuts the door, and you can hear it being relocked on the other side.
Well, sounds like
What time is first thing?
Yeah, what time is first thing in the morning?
What is this thing, and what is it preceding?
Like normal. He implied like normal business hours first thing.
So like 8 o'clock?
More like 9, but yeah.
9. I was like, my first thing in the morning is like 11 o'clock. I don't know about y'all.
Oh, I am in my office at 7:45 every morning.
That's why you should work for yourself.
I'm mostly working around the train schedule, but okay.
That's why you should get a new train schedule.
Yeah, Sheryl, you should just buy your own train.
I mean,
it's so much more convenient.
Yeah, that grad school budget.
Yeah.
All the
I mean,
trains,
they're not that
all the time.
expensive,
Yeah.
only a couple $1 million.
That's one of my favorite things about Ecuador. People are like, oh, when should I take the public transportation to get to this place? I'm like, what do you mean? It runs every 15 minutes. You just show up and you get on the Now bus, the one that's leaving now.
The Now bus.
the Now one, obviously. And then I went back to the States, and then went to get from Athens, Georgia to Atlanta, like 2 pretty big towns. I was like, I'm going to take the bus. And everyone's like, what bus? And I was like, right. This country.
Oops. All right, are you doing anything else this evening?
Kay is going to attempt to sleep poorly.
Kay is attempting to sleep poorly.
Yeah, just going to bed.
Going to bed. Does everybody have... I don't remember who... So Fletcher definitely paid for a month of accommodations at what you're calling the Twitter bar, the Marked Bird. I don't remember...
I have a house.
You have a house. I don't remember if the other 2 gentlemen paid for accommodations or not.
I did.
You did? Oh, yeah, you did wind up paying for a month, yeah.
Yeah.
I have that written down on my notes, which are in Maryland.
Awesome.
So...
We'll just give you a night on the house to move things along.
Cool, thanks.
He has blood on his shirt still.
Yeah, still has blood on his shirt.
And I mean...
Leon's just like, Cedric, do you have another shirt?
You just got the one shirt.
You don't even turn it inside out. Like, you don't even try.
Wait, if it's a white shirt with blood soaked into it, turning it inside out would do nothing.
Maybe it's like dual layered or something.
It's not.
Or maybe it's dirtier on the inside, so you can't tell.
Well, he's been wearing the same shirt for a week, so clearly it's pretty dirty on both sides.
He'd just be walking around with the tag sticking out of the back, like.
Hey, Fletcher, can you, like, magic the dirt out of my shirt?
I mean, you can magic it out by washing it.
I tried that already, but it didn't work.
Blood's usually pretty hard to get out of stuff, especially in large quantities.
How about we just buy you a new shirt?
I suppose that's acceptable. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow after the trial.
Not before. He's gonna walk in his courtroom.
We definitely didn't murder this guy. Look at all the blood on my shirt.
It's first thing.
It's first thing in the morning.
Presumably the courthouse opens before the tailors. I don't want to be late to the trial.
It's the first thing. No things can come before it.
Shirtless? Like some kind of barbarian.
Hey now.
Barbarian. We're in a mood. We're in a mood over here.
Yeah. It's nothing like a murder mystery to get everybody in the giggles.
Right.
Oh boy.
I mean,
if we weren't laughing, we'd be crying. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, that was dark.
See, Cedric, this is where I wear dark robes. They hide the blood.
I feel like it sends the wrong message, though. It makes me look evil.
Any more of a wrong message than literally having a giant blood stain on your shirt?
Well, this has never happened before. It's not something I planned for.
It's been there for a week.
Technically,
Hardly
the blood...
a week. 3 days, maybe.
You know what? I'm gonna jump in
Sent a
here.
message.
Okay, I'm going to jump in here and defend my friend Cedric. Technically, he is not responsible for the bloodstain.
He wasn't when it happened, but he's now responsible for the message he is sending by walking around in a blood-soaked shirt.
That's true. It is.
To be fair, it is a blood-stained shirt, not a blood-soaked shirt. I did wash it.
It is a little Patrick Bateman.
I'm just saying that we're, like, trying to, like, go on to trial tomorrow and be like, my brother didn't murder this person. You should obviously listen to us because we look very trustworthy with, you know, our blood-soaked shirts. You know what I mean? Like...
I suppose I could wear my chainmail on the outside. Do that. Maybe that would hide it.
Only if you add a tie.
Do that.
Formal
chainmail.
I am requesting.
A tie for what?
I am requesting fan art of Cedric with his chainmail on the outside and then a tie.
Tucked into his chainmail. Yeah. It's like a
He'd probably wear a
tie.
bow tie. Like, that's the thing. He wouldn't even think it through. He would just be like, I don't understand why I have to wear a tie. Obviously, this bow tie is gonna, like...
It seems very fetishy.
Mm.
Chainmail, tie, like
Right.
medieval
Yeah.
Chippendales.
Medieval Chippendales.
Can't you borrow a shirt from someone? Borrow one from Fletcher.
But he's so small.
We're not the same size. He's so big.
It has now it's diverse in its functions. Now you have a tunic.
Fletcher, don't you have some sort of, like, shrinking spell for clothes?
Why is this all about me wasting my spells?
Fine.
He's a grown man. He can buy a new shirt.
It's 10 o'clock at night. What could you be using them on?
It hasn't been 10 o'clock at night for 3 days.
I'm going home. I can't even handle this. And she just, like, storms off. Is my mom awake?
It's
really.
pretty late at this point. So, well, I mean, it was just after dinner. So, yeah, she's probably still up at the kitchen table doing her thing with her ledgers. Yeah.
We don't. Hi, Mom. We don't happen to have like a white man's shirt that
I mean,
possibly borrow.
Your father has several shirts. What do you need a shirt for?
Well, we're going on trial tomorrow to clear Jay's name, and one of the one of the friends in the group has decided that he is not like an adult enough to buy himself a shirt, even though his is bloodstained, and I really don't think that gives the right message when you like go up on trial with bloodstained shirt being like, this guy didn't murder that other person. It's complicated. So maybe if we can just give him a nice shirt for the trial, that would be nice.
Of course.
It will come back not bloodstained.
Yes, just go on into the bedroom. There's shirts of your father's in the chest.
Hey. Well, I'll try and pick the smallest one.
Okay. Give me a search check.
That one's actually a skill, right?
That one is actually a skill, yes. I'm not just making stuff up.
No, I mean, like, it's not... yeah, whatever.
Oh,
search.
yeah.
Alphabetical order.
Yes.
I'm assuming.
Yes.
Search. Oh, I actually have pretty decent search modifier.
You should.
Not that it helped. 10. Sorry, Cedric. I am emotionally distraught.
So you, just even if you did roll a high number, it doesn't guarantee you'll find something. So yeah, you go through the chest and you see, like, you know, a whole bunch of your mom's, like, basically like the base, like, underdress and some shirts and trousers of your father's. You're having trouble finding something that you think might fit Cedric, though, because your father is 5'10".
I don't care. I pick a shirt. He's getting a shirt.
You pick,
too big or not.
a linen shirt out of the chest, and yeah.
Like,
ta-da.
Like, look at it. Can I, like... I don't know how good I am at sewing. I'm probably, like, mediocre. Can I, like, make it shorter somehow? Whatever. You can just tie it in a knot. It's fine.
Just tie it in a belly shirt like girls in the 90s.
Yeah.
That was my thought exactly.
Did we talked about that last time when you tried to tuck up your robe.
This is really, guys, this is really getting more and more medieval Chippendales. You know, the belly shirt, the chainmail, the bow tie.
Cedric has a fantastic midriff.
Does he?
Yeah. He just has very, very tiny abs.
Are there like ties at the bottom of the shirt, or is it just like a shirt?
It's just a shirt. Basic linen shirt.
You know,
the fantastic abs were not part of the original character description I received.
Well, I mean, you know, I assumed everybody. You know.
He got them from all of the breath it took to complain about how shitty Newchester is.
Yeah. Actually, you know what we need for Cedric? Some right said Fred.
Some what?
Some what?
Right said Fred.
What is that?
I'm too sexy for my shirt.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
You should be sorry.
You should be.
Okay.
Nobody listens to 80s music anymore.
Well, not knowing Kay went home and searched for a shirt and being tired of this all happening, Fletcher also, for the night, changes his spell preparation and replaces one of his cantrips with prestidigitation, which can clean objects.
Okay.
Because he's just tired of it.
He's just over it.
I'm gonna have 2 clean shirts.
One clean shirt and one clean shirt that's too big for you.
And a clean dress.
Tunic. It's called a tunic, and if it was good enough for the Greeks, it's good enough for Cedric.
Yeah, Cedric's
like
okay
a robe.
dressing in a human-style garment.
Oh my god.
He's trying to fit in with the natives.
You know that like 2.5 Men meme where the Alan comes out with like the head, like the hat on sideways of like the skateboard. He's like, "Hello, kids." So like Cedric is like, "Hello."
Oh, yeah.
Hello, humans.
Yeah, hello, fellow humans.
His like chainmail and his tie.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, you're right. It can clean. So
Yep.
you are good to go.
Change color, clean, or soil it. So I could just make it all
make
red.
it black.
Yes, you can
I
make
could
it
just
all
make it
red.
all blood colored.
Oh, that's perfect. Make it a wine-colored shirt. That way, whatever you spill on it, you can't tell.
I mean, if we get into another fight, I could make it blood colored too.
We're like the fairies from from what is it?
Sleeping Beauty.
Sleeping Beauty.
Yes.
They're like, make it pink, don't make it blue. Make it pink. Cedric's just in the corner crying.
Aww.
He's completely oblivious.
He will be in the corner crying very shortly.
Is anybody doing anything else?
So, Lucanus is up in his room, sort of looking in the mirror, and he like has his big robe on, and he takes it off, and there's like the leather armor underneath, and he's like, well, I guess this is good enough for court, and just sort of like, you know, polishes his weapons and goes into his trance where like he shudders and he's obviously having some sort of nightmare, and
Oh, man.
it just does not.
Every night.
Night after night, sleep does not work out for him.
Troubled dreams and no one around to witness them. Except
Yep.
those beyond the fourth wall. Anyway. Alright, is that it for the night? All right, in that case, let's take an early-ish halfway bio break, since we're at sort of a break in the days, and we'll come back to the next morning after our bio break. So, any of you who might be out there watching us on Twitch or Periscope, thank you so much for being here. If you do have any questions for the cast while we're on our bio break, just drop them in the chat, and I will find them, and we'll try to address them when we come back. But yeah, we'll see y'all in a few. Bye.
That is very good.
Let's not have
Hey,
my brother
everyone.
murderized.
Yeah, no, we're back. And it's a new day. It's a new dawn. It's a new day. I think I've made that joke before. But it is the morning of the 25th of Mistrun. That'd make it
Every morning, you should either play that song or play the opening to The Lion King.
Every morning. It is the morning of Telosum, the 25th day of Mistrun in the year something. What year did I say it was? 972.
929. I was going to say 927. That's dyslexia, though.
I made a whole calendar, but I don't have it memorized yet. Sorry about that. Yes.
Terrible, worst DM ever.
Get out. Your town sucks. Your name sucks. You don't even know what year it is.
Fine, I'll just let you all run around on a blank canvas by yourselves. Yes, so it is the morning of Telosum, the 25th day of Mistrun in the year 972, and it is time for the trial of New Sechester v. J. Prowell. So what are y'all doing?
Waking up.
Waking up.
Cedric emerges from his room with his chainmail over his shirt and a belt around his neck and tucked into the
wrong messages. Oh my god.
Oh god.
So even more fetishy.
So
okay.
Even more fetishy.
Yeah.
We're just
Yeah.
all fetishy.
He's completely oblivious to it.
Whatever Cedric's into.
Cool.
Yeah, but everybody out there with breath control fetishes, you're welcome.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Kay actually tries to make herself look nice. She puts her hair in a pretty braid and wears a nice flowy shirt.
I was gonna say, are you still in your flowy white shirt and flowy purple pants, or do you have different stuff on?
I have a different color flowy pants.
Okay.
But she does her hair and puts makeup on and stuff.
Nice.
What color flowy pants is your fancy flowy pants?
Black. Formal. Mm-hmm.
So she looks like a cellist for a symphony orchestra. Flowy black pants, nice white shirt.
Yeah, and they have some glitter and sequins in them.
What were you gonna say, Peter?
Or something shiny.
Nope. I have a friend that's a cellist, and that is spot on.
Yeah. I used to be in the orchestra, and my sister plays the upright bass, so I'm very, very familiar with what people wear for orchestra concerts.
Yeah, these flowy pants are for skirts. That for girls, I like to sit like men.
Yes. Yep.
You know what they say about people that play the upright bass.
What? Uh-oh.
They do it standing up.
Or sometimes leaning on a stool. Moving on.
I was gonna say that their passion for music is all about that bass.
All about that.
All right. So Kay's getting all spiffed up.
It is way too late for a Meghan Trainor reference.
Kay's all spiffed up. Cedric has his chainmail on over his shirt.
You know when you draw your eyeliner on and then it's not good enough, then you wipe it off and try again?
Yep.
Yeah, it's been that all morning.
Oh, it's the worst. And then you get one eye perfect and then the second one just won't be perfect like the first one. Yeah.
And then you question what you're wearing about 700 times and your entire closet is on the bed and then you've changed outfits 800 times. That is her morning.
Kay has tried on every color of flowy pants.
Every color.
Okay. How about Fletcher and Lucanus?
Fletcher comes downstairs and sees Cedric, and he's like, "What? Where's your shirt?"
It's under the chainmail. I use the chainmail to hide the stain.
Okay, just so that this doesn't come up again today, while Kay is probably going to be really stressed out.
I love Fletcher.
I'm going to need you to lift up your chainmail.
I love him even more.
Okay.
I'm a huge fan of the laundry conversation.
Lucanus comes down at this exact moment.
Yeah, you got it up like this.
Leon is on the bar like this, just
And the belt.
Can
The
Kay
belt
also
is
walk into the marked at
hanging
this exact
down.
moment?
Yes.
underneath it.
And I do prestidigitation.
She comes running in and doesn't quite understand what's going on. It's I have a shirt for you.
So as you run in, Kay, you see Fletcher with his hands up, starting to wiggle his fingers as Cedric is standing there, holding his chainmail up with this bloodstained white shirt underneath. And then all of a sudden,
And Kay is like holding this shirt up, like running in like with a white flag. That's like.
But all of a sudden, the bloodstain is gone. Poof.
Ooh. Oh, hey, it's all clean now. Thank you.
I actually brought you a shirt, but it.
Oh,
See,
that's so nice. Well, now I have a spare.
Well, this one is for someone, average height. So I'm not sure if it'll fit.
I mean, Kay, given what we've learned about Cedric, it'll probably be good if he has a little extra clothing around.
No, but it's my dad's. It was supposed to just be for the trial. Whatever, I'll get Dad a new shirt, maybe.
Guys,
here, take this for
my
now.
My mom just brought me wine.
Your mom brought you wine? No.
My mom brought me wine.
Stop.
I'm going to podcast from North Carolina. From now on, I'm moving back home.
This is like Cedric's life, though. Like, he's literally never had to take care of himself.
Yeah. My practice Cedric's past.
And Peter is smart enough to wear a black shirt, so if he gets a red stain on it, you won't be able to tell.
Yeah.
Solid.
It probably won't be blood either. Although I don't know your life.
It'll be red wine.
Or is it?
So, Lucanus looks over at Kay, and he's like, wow, you look really nice. And he looks over at Cedric, and he's like, you look like you're about to apply for a job at Carissa's brothel, and I would not be a good reference for you.
Thanks you for your compliment. Oh, thanks. That was really nice to one of us.
Oh, yeah, we totally haven't dealt with any of the fallout from that at all. That'll be fun to look forward to. Well, thank you both so much. You guys are wonderful friends.
I know. It's like we care about you or something.
Hug? Group hug?
Oh my goodness.
Lucanus
We're not that good of friends.
Goes in and then grabs Kay into the group hug.
Oh boy. All right, awesome. Good job, team. Good times. All right, let's go save my brother from murder.
Yay! Should we do breakfast first? I feel like we should do a breakfast first.
Oh yeah.
Trial.
Kay now realizes that she didn't.
Am I gonna be
in her
allowed to bring my
struggles?
weapons into the courthouse? Because that's kind of important to me.
Could you not have them on
weapons
you?
Courthouse me? Is that cool?
Well,
I feel like you could probably claim them as a cultural item.
We're not exactly there to fight. We'll basically be sitting there, and Kay is going to go up and testify.
Look at my pretty clothes. I'm not going in with anything. And I definitely look the most squishy out of all of us, so they'll definitely kill me first.
Why would they be killing you? This is a house of law.
Yeah, definitely that. But anyone can theoretically walk into the House of Law, even us. So, I mean, I don't know if they have, particular standards.
The paranoia of D&D characters is one of my favorite, or of D&D players is one of my favorite things about this game. People are like, oh my god.
Literally walk.
People are going to kill us everywhere.
Pretty pants and stuff.
Well, I'm not leaving my hammer.
I'm gonna stick. I'm not gonna leave my weapons at home. If they ask me to drop them at the door, I'm just going to stay outside, and if there's a fight inside, I'll probably hear about it.
Wow, your support is unwavering.
Well, I mean, if they have some sort of rental drop box, I just don't want to. I just want to protect you guys.
I love that the barbarian is like, well, if they have a check, a weapon check, I'll use that.
You like a little plastic circular token with a number on it.
Yeah. I just, as long as it's a reputable,
I don't know how the D&D legal system works.
Neither does Kay with her reading abilities and the not that kind of trial. Okay.
You guys
all right. Are we eating breakfast? Are we eating breakfast? I didn't eat. I was too busy battling my eyeliner this morning. Not that you know what that is, but I'm
Leon,
definitely the prettiest out of all of us.
A breakfast for everyone.
Breakfast for
I feel
everyone.
like I could battle eyeliner. Lucanus is just oblivious and is just trying to be supportive. Like, I could battle that eyeliner for you.
Oh, he's trying so hard.
Makeup challenge. We are going to have a makeup challenge. Get ready with Lucanus.
I was gonna say, if we get to 100 subscribers on the YouTube channel,
Yes.
we'll have a let's get ready with Lucanus video.
Yeah.
Oh, I would be perfectly happy doing makeup on this channel.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, let's do
Yeah,
it. 100 subscribers.
out of all of us, Joe, if you are probably the only one that has never worn eyeliner. I'm just gonna assume here.
I mean, you'd be surprised.
Oh, all right.
Oh man, all of the things yet to uncover in the backstories of both our players and their characters. Alright, so you're having some breakfast.
Men should totally wear makeup more often, just an FYI. Like, y'all look good in makeup. That's what
This has
makeup
been
does. It makes everyone look better. or at
Everybody
least
looks
different.
better when their eyes are emphasized.
Right?
Yeah.
Exactly. Like, little
You
pop
know-
of color.
Mm-hmm.
Say what you want
I
about
mean-
like the early 2000s emo bands, those dudes did look good.
Right. Also, like, a little pop of color on your lips underneath your beard.
Mm-hmm.
All right, anyway. Moving on.
This is gonna be a whole thing. I'm a big fan. Oh goodness.
We are learning a lot about our players.
Yeah, we'll have to develop some Arda brand cosmetics. All right, so you have some breakfast. What next?
Is it? What time is it? Can we just head to the courthouse?
Seems like it. Especially if you want to get a good seat.
Yeah, I mean, we're just gonna be sitting there.
Yeah.
Kay's got to do all the work.
I like thought about it like shit. I'm like not good at talking about things. Maybe I should have voluntold Fletcher, but here we are. Damn. Yeah, can I actually have the evidence? Do I have it? I thought Fletcher had it last.
Probably. He's the most responsible out of all of us.
That's what I'm thinking. He's definitely the most responsible.
No, it wasn't in my bag.
Oh, then I think I might have it.
Well,
I thought one of us had it, but I
I thought it was in
remember.
Lucanus's bag.
the last
is it
thing
a-
that happened to it is that Cedric reformed it.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
and I thought Lucanus was the one carrying it.
I helped.
Am I? Did we put it back in my...
Can we find
Dude,
it
I thought
before
that
we
we-
go?
We all dump out our bags on the table.
We find it. It was in someone's bag.
Okay.
There are like 80 pamphlets about Moradin.
Just everywhere.
You have 80 pamphlets about Moradin, but you don't have an extra shirt? You could make a new shirt out of your pamphlet.
I'm like 90%. I'm like 90% sure Cedric has it.
Yeah, well.
Somebody finds it.
Somebody finds it.
Presumably, right?
Didn't we have a conversation, Nancy, about dudes packing everything they need in a backpack and being like, that's fine, I'll just wear the same clothes? I feel like we did have that conversation about this already. Okay, so you find the mostly reformed bottle. Remember, you didn't have all of the glass pieces, so when you mended it, there's like a hole missing. But you have the cork and this mostly whole potion bottle.
Kay, do you also want my book that has the vivograph that we made of the alley in case they want to see it and submit it as some kind of evidence?
Yeah, definitely that. Thank you.
All right, then I give her. I probably just rip out the page that's on and give her the page so that she has the copy of the vivograph.
Cool.
All right, I guess now we go to the courthouse.
Okay, you go to the courthouse. So you've been there before, so you know how to get back. Out in front of the courthouse, now that it's, operating hours, there are 2 guards, like city guards, standing at the door, checking people as they enter.
Mm-hmm.
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 The only checking they're gonna do for me is checking me out, because I'm hot.
Was that your goal in outfit selection? Was it
Yes.
was it to be hot, or was it to be like?
It's an important decision how much cleavage you show for a particular situation.
Right? You want to be taken seriously, but also like,
This is
The
terrible.
judge is gonna be not into women, and you're just gonna be fucked.
Oh no. Oh boy.
You can look presentable and hot all at the same time.
It's true.
Especially with this killer winged eyeliner, okay?
And Kay walks between the guards and enters the courthouse.
Boom!
Next.
Me.
You. What do you have on now? What was the end result of all of that?
Okay, so my normal black pants, chainmail, underneath white button-down shirt.
Okay.
I've taken the belt off of my neck.
Okay.
Now I'm ready to get and I've got my warhammer and a small backpack.
Okay.
On.
So as you start to walk through, the guard just says, "Excuse me, sir. No weapons allowed inside."
This is a cultural artifact.
We prefer that people not bring weapons inside with them.
Well, I mean, I can't be separated from. This is my spiritual connection to Moradin.
Then you might want to wait outside, sir.
Well, what should I do with it?
That's
if I want
not
to go
up
inside?
to me, sir.
Is there a place I can leave it?
Fletcher walks up and is like, I just have this book.
Go on in.
You go with Lucanus, and Lucanus
See you
is blue
inside.
outside.
Cedric looks at Lucanus.
Lucanus attempts to sort of slip by the guards as they're talking to Cedric.
Do you have your hood up or down?
It is up.
It is up. Make a stealth check for me.
Ahoy, mateys!
Hold on. Let me. Where's that app? It got closed out. Okay. Crap. Hold on. 19.
19. You managed to slip past while they're talking to Cedric.
19. Let me see if. Oh, really? That works. Okay.
Mm-hmm. They were
Cedric
distracted.
Cedric calls after Lucanus. Save me a seat. I'll be right back.
Are you gonna save him a seat?
He just sort of gives a thumbs up. Yes, sir. Good buddy.
Good buddy.
I'm gonna go back to the marked bird.
Okay. You're gonna go back to the marked bird.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And do what?
I'm gonna leave my warhammer there, but the handle of my warhammer is wrapped in linen cloth. I'm gonna unwind that from the handle of the warhammer. I'm gonna put it in my pants pocket, and then I'm gonna come back to the court.
Okay. So, on his short little dwarven legs, Cedric chugs back to the marked bird, stows his stuff, takes the cloth, chugs back to the courthouse, and Cedric, you make it inside just as the court is sort of settling down and people are getting ready for things to start.
I imagine him doing the slide in, just running to
Yeah.
like as the doors are closing,
yeah. He's the only one in the aisle and looking around for the chairs and sees you guys.
Yeah.
And...
You guys are like...
Yeah. Alright, so then another town guard sort of up at the front says, all rise for the Honorable Judge Otis George Walker. There's a whole bunch of people in to
Right.
watch because, spectacles and whatnot. And Judge Walker comes in, human man in his mid-50s, a big man, 6 feet tall and rather large sideways as well. Brown eyes, very short cut gray hair, standard judge black robe outfit. And he comes and sort of nods around the courtroom and sits down, and then everybody else around you sits down. Are you also sitting down? I
Yeah.
hope so. Okay. And
Yes.
you also sit down. Marvelous. And Judge Walker says, Charles Dawson Clark, Esquire, the legal counsel for the Tenebrian Crown, please present the case. And so you see a man in his early 50s again, well-bred, very proper posture and attire, maybe like just under 6 feet tall, short gray ponytail in the old style, gray-green eyes and thin lips, and he rises and says, Judge Walker, those assembled, today I am presenting the case against the accused, J. Prowell, in the case of the murder of Timothy Prendergast, a clerk of the Chief Magistrate. First, I would like to call to witness the captain of the new Sechester Guard, Captain Thomas Wells.
No, this kid.
Huh?
No, this kid.
This kid. Kay and Cedric, you recognize this figure. A man stands up, tall, muscular, very attractive, in his early 30s, with lustrous dark brown hair that he wears to his shoulders, and piercing blue eyes, and he stands up and comes and sits in a chair at the front of the room. And the lawyer says, would you please describe the case and the state of the victim? So Wells says, yes, I was called to the scene of the murder where we discovered the body of Timothy Prendergast, horribly burned in the face and stabbed 3 times in the torso, and he was already dead when we arrived. We apprehended a man matching the description that was given to us by someone who had witnessed the crime, and who we felt or assumed would fit further evidence, namely the burns on the face of the victim, J. Prowell. And the lawyer asks on why exactly did J. Prowell fit the description well, and Wells explains, well, the witness described for us that he saw a man matching Prowell's physical description, but as people who know Prowell may know, he seems to have some sort of draconic heritage, and so the burns on the face of the murder victim matched this bit of information as well. And the lawyer says, thank you very much. I would now... What was that?
Shitty lawyer.
I would now like to call to witness Magnus Townsend, the man who witnessed the attack on Timothy Prendergast. So you see a rather young halfling man, again, fastidious personal appearance, medium brown skin and tightly curling black hair that he wears medium length, but otherwise he's clean shaven. A little bit of an effeminate appearance about the face, like I said, very fastidious, and he comes up and sits down in the chair, and the lawyer says, Mr. Townsend, would you please share with the court what you saw the night of the murder of Timothy Prendergast? And Townsend says, well, yes, I was coming out of the theater after the concert where Caitlin Dewfoot was singing, And I, as I was coming out of the building, I noticed a blonde man with a scar on his left cheek, running past me out of the alleyway next to the theater. And I don't know where he went. I saw him running out of the alley, and I was curious about why he was running, and so I sort of ducked my head down into the alley, and I discovered the body of Mr. Prendergast lying motionless on the ground, and I immediately called for the town guard. And the lawyer says, Mr. Townsend, is that all you're able to provide for us in terms of a description of the man you saw? And Townsend says, well, yes, it was dark because it was so late at night, and he was moving very fast, and, he was a human, or human looking, so he was quite a bit taller than myself, but I did see that he had blonde hair and this scar on the side of his face. And the lawyer says, in that case, I have no further questions, Your Honor. And then this is like the NPC's greatest hits here, guys. Sorry about that. And then, so the man that you saw, that you spoke to last night, that you gave your name to, Kay, so he stands and says, Judge Walker, there is a witness who would like to testify on behalf of the accused. Miss Kay Prowell has put forward her name and says that she has evidence she would like to share with the court. And Judge Walker says, well, thank you, Mr. Ron. Is this Kay Prowell in the room?
Yes,
Janice
sir.
Gives Kay a thumbs up.
Kay, stands up kind of straight. She's like, yes, sir, I'm here.
Well, in that case, please come up here, young lady, and share with us what evidence you say you have.
Kay can hear her heart pounding in her ears. Gets up. I'm pretty sure she's blushing, but it's fine. So, yes, good ladies and gentlemen of the court and the judge, I would like to present this evidence that we found. Me and some of my friends. I mean, Jay is my brother, so I definitely want to, I definitely don't think he committed the murder, obviously, and so we went looking at the scene of the crime for evidence, and due to my friend's really good visual, he has this trick with magic that he can do where he can study a scene and then put it exactly down on a piece of paper, the exact replica, and I have that paper here, and this is what the scene of the crime was when we got there. Granted, it was yesterday, so it was a few days after, but we found a smashed bottle and the cork, and so we collected the smashed bottle and the cork and brought it to the two apothecaries here, run by Elsa and the other one Pops, but to determine the contents of what was in this bottle. And we found that it was alchemist's fire, which, one of the reasons that Jay is accused is because, the person had burn victims, and obviously dragon people do that. But this evidence of alchemist's fire could definitely be anyone could have used this and thrown it at the person and burned them. So here I have both the bottle that we have reconstructed and the scene of the crime.
So the judge, you're sort of handing them up over the desk to the judge. So he's going to take both of them and sort of look at them and put them on the desk. How about a diplomacy check for me?
Oh, damn it.
You didn't think you were just going to be able to say it.
I was hoping real
You can
real
do
hard.
it!
Hold on.
Lucanus is holding up a foam finger, K number 1.
I was hoping my role-playing skills were just gonna carry me through this one.
I mean, so basically how checks like this work is
I got an 18!
Nice.
Woo!
Alright. So, yeah, basically how checks like this work, that is very bright, is that it's alright, the result of the roll matters, but basically the difficulty of the roll changes depending on how well you role play. So yes,
okay.
you are correct that your role-playing skills do matter. You can't just phone it in. Can't just phone it in, even if you get a nat 20 if you didn't say something that sounded persuasive. All right, so the judge thanks you for those and scrutinizes them and says, is there anything else, Miss Prowell?
No, that's it for now, thank you.
Oh, thank you very much. And Mr. Ron says, and Judge Walker, there is one more person who would like to testify in the case, Miss Janet Green. And you can see she stands up in another part of the room and comes up and sort of like passes by you. And Kay, as you're sort of switching places, she reaches down and squeezes your hand.
Aww.
Yeah.
Kay then like burst into tears.
Just like ugly crying.
And they're just like pouring down her face at this point.
Yeah.
I would too. We're gonna cry together.
Yeah. So Janet comes up and sits down in the chair and says, "Yes, Judge Walker and members of the court, I would like to provide testimony to help clear the name of J. Prowell. I understand that the honorable judge of the honorable captain of the guard had discovered evidence, and that the witness described what he saw, and I do not claim that either of them is being false. However, J. Prowell is not the man who did this, because on the night in question, he was with me for several hours during that evening and into the night. And so I would like my testimony to serve as an alibi for the accused that he could not conceivably have been both with me and my parents' home and also in the entertainment district in an alley next to the theater.
She was much better at this than Kay was.
She's been practicing. So she will also do a diplomacy check.
Is Cedric sitting next to Lucanus right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because you saved him a seat, remember?
Okay. Oh, yeah, that's right. So Lucanus leads over to Cedric and he's like, hey, if you need an emotional support weapon, I managed to get through with my pieces.
I'm okay. Thank you.
An emotional support weapon.
I'm respecting the rules of the court.
He leans over and whispers, I'm not, and just kind of giggles.
Oh my goodness. You guys are the worst.
Cedric
Kay just like stares at them with like tears like streaming down her face.
I was gonna say, she's got like white knuckles and like...
And she's like, really?
Cedric's very uncomfortable with the fact that Lucanus is breaking the rules. So, like sweaty palms, like heart racing now.
Not that my brother got murdered. Definitely not that. The fact that Lucanus
No. But
Lucanus gets a thrill from being rebellious.
So he is a teenager.
He is older than you guys.
Mox next. So then Judge Walker says, and Kay, you did notice this, that Jay is sitting in a special area at the front of the room, right? So the sort of accused on display dealio.
Yeah.
And Judge Walker turns to him and says, Mr. Prowell, we have heard testimony on behalf of the prosecution and from those who have come to your aid to provide defense. Is there anything that you would like to say on your own behalf? And Jay sort of, he like sits up a little straighter in his chair and he says, well, I don't really know what to say except that I have no ill will toward anyone in this town. This has been my home basically my entire life, and regardless of what I may look like or what some people may think of me, I have no ability to breathe fire, and even if I did, would not use it on anyone in such a way that's horrifying to be burned like that. And I appreciate the care that was shown to me by my sister and by Miss Green. They do me a great honor by coming forward and trying to defend me, and I only hope that the court listens to them. And that's it.
Tears.
Yeah. My dog is crying too, apparently.
Yeah,
Aww, puppy.
Oh, puppy. All right, so the judge rises from his desk and says, I will be in my chambers considering the evidence and will return with a verdict. So he stands, so everybody else stands, and he leaves. Now you guys are free to sort of hang out in the court for a few minutes, at the very least.
Kay just, like, sits and cries. She's, like, twitching and, like, you know, like, near and, like, fiddling her legs and just, like, tears.
Is this like a recess where people are sort of milling about?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Lucanus walks over and gives Kay a big hug and says, "You did great."
Thanks.
Aww.
She just, like, grabs onto his arm and, like, sobs.
Aww.
Lucanus, your arm is a little soggy now.
It's okay, it'll dry.
Her beautiful makeup is running.
Yeah, it's gone. It's gone.
It's
gone.
just destroyed.
Done. I don't think they made waterproof eyeliner back in the day.
No, it was probably mostly like burnt charcoal.
Yeah, it's probably just burnt charcoal.
Yeah.
Actually, the earliest use of nail polish was in China. I think it was like 2,000 years ago, and it was a red pigment mixed with beeswax. You're welcome.
That's a fun fact. Was the red pigment from scale insects?
I don't know. I imagine. I don't actually know.
Or from like flowers or something?
I think scale insects.
That was the extent of my fact.
South America, because that's where.
I think it was something else.
Yeah.
So Opportunia is the cactus that they use to grow the scales that they get the red food coloring from.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if y'all didn't know that, it's actually kind of hard to find food.
I have some in my freezer.
Yeah,
I found bugs on a cactus.
Oh, you found the bugs.
Yeah, and I took them to do a video about them. So I like saved I killed a few of them. The cactus is doomed, but it was actually on the equator. There's like a museum in the middle of the world, and there happened to be these bugs that I wanted to do a video of on the equator. So they're equator bugs.
That is very cool. Yeah, I went looking for candies.
Equator bugs?
Equator
No, because the equator is a very thin imaginary line. See, most of the time I'm either north of the equator or south of it. Right now in Quito, I'm south, but if I go to Cloudforest, I'm north.
On the equator.
Yeah, no, they were on the equator.
Cool.
Yeah, I went looking for candies to see if I could find some with the right red dye in them, and it's like exceptionally hard to find now. I think almost all
they're
red
not
dyes
vegan.
Yeah. Almost all red dyes are artificially synthesized now, but
For
another
our
fun
viewers
fact.
and listeners, have we explained what we're talking about?
I don't think exactly. No, we kind of talked around it. Oops.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just got so excited.
Red food coloring comes from
and makeup.
Scale insect.
And makeup.
What?
Yeah, makeup too actually has a lot of scale insects.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I actually have done a lot of research because I want to do a video. So can I just go for it?
Go for it. Wait,
All
ready?
Yeah. So carmine comes from a scale insect, which is a small little white bug that you usually find on prickly pear. Comes from Central and South America, and their blood is bright red. So if you squash them, it makes this bright red color. And these dried insects, and then the subsequent powder from their dead bodies was then used to make various dyes of red in color. Although, fun fact, if you mix it with lemon, it comes orange, and if you mix it with baking soda, then it turns purple. So you can actually get a couple different colors out of them.
Wow.
They were using a lot to dye lots of things red, including the British redcoats. Yeah, and so a lot of food before had the carmine dye in it. The Starbucks the pink strawberry drink had it until there's a big thing. It was they're technically insects, which are animals, so then it's not vegan, and then so they used a different dye. In makeup and cosmetics, a lot of lipstick and eyeshadows as well also have this dye. But now, again, kind of for the same reasons, they're now using red flakes double red lakes dye. But fun fact, the red lake dye is not approved by the FDA for eye use because in some people it causes staining and eye irritation. However, the crushed up bug is safe for eye use and lip use, but it's a crushed up bug and so it doesn't fit a lot of the vegan formulas.
So yeah, red lipstick.
Oh,
and
I forget the chemical exactly in their blood, but we think it's to deter ants. So one of the studies done by Thomas Eisner found that it's toxic to ants and a lot of other insects, and it seems to be kind of like an insect repellent built into their blood.
That is super cool.
Oh, and they were brought, so they grow on the prickly pear, and the prickly pear was brought to Australia to like grow the red insects to make the British's like coats red. And then the prickly pear, not the insect, but the prickly pear became invasive, and then they brought a moth over, and it's one of the first examples of successful biocontrol where the moth controls the prickly pear well and actually integrated well into the ecosystem and didn't itself become an invasive species, unlike the cane toad. But,
wow.
Yeah, I think I think that's about all.
That was great.
From a production standpoint, the cactus that it grows on is actually really common and really surprisingly wide-ranging. It ranges up to Nebraska, I think, is the part of its northern range, at least in the Midwest. Like
we've got it in Maryland for sure.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, we had it in Georgia.
It's on the lake shore of Lake Michigan in the Indiana Dunes too, because it was dragged up there by the glaciers. So I grew up with it.
Oh, okay.
And we've even found there are individuals of the prickly pear in the prairie where I work.
Yeah. So they're also raised for food. I actually have a couple prickly pear fruits in my fridge right now. They're on sale right now in Wyoming.
I can get one of the bugs. They're in my freezer.
Do you want to show us a bug?
Run and grab
show us a bug.
Show us a bug.
Yeah, hold on.
You want me to grab one of the fruits from my fridge?
Go for it.
Yeah.
The more visual aids, the better.
I'll grab a fruit.
Sorry to all you podcast listeners. We'll have audio description for you.
Yeah, it's carminic acid in cochineal insects that make the dye, and it's pH reactive, and it doesn't always make red colors. It can also make orange and purples.
Ooh.
And the Greeks and Romans used oak kermes scales to make red dye from kermes oak. So that was actually a Mediterranean source of scale red dye.
That's really cool. Eric is checking in on chat and mentioned ancient purple dye made from the shell of a rare sea snail.
I read that too because I have a book about mollusks, and so I was reading all about this like purple dye from And
so it was Tyrian purple from the shell, it's not the shell of the scale or shell of the snail. There's an organ inside that when it is crushed and oxidizes, it produces the purple pigment, and you have to collect a lot of it to dye garments, which is why it was associated with just royalty that could afford getting purple clothing. And so that's why purple is associated as a royal color.
They're like really tiny, but it's
they're so tiny. That's very cool. I didn't know that, Ryan. And Mr.
I just want to say there's a snail. You can also make it with blue, and it has a really important symbolism in Judaism where they call it tehelet, and they would dye the strands of the belts that they wear that have the white strands on them. They would get blue dyed strands. I think at bar mitzvah. I don't remember that part, but so that was a very special thing too because it's very hard to get limited dye, and they would use that. I've done a lot of natural dye things in my past lives.
That's very cool. Yes, and Misty21, thank you so much for coming to watch. We promise we'll get back to D&D in a moment, but I'm glad you feel like you're getting smarter listening to us talk about bugs that turn things colors.
Nancy, show us your fingers again. That's
really cool.
Sorry, Joe, but that color is fantastic.
Yeah. So for podcast listeners, Nancy is crushing one of the cochineal bugs between her fingers, and it looks like blood. It's so red.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
It really does look like blood. That's a beautiful color. Yeah.
That's super cool.
They would farm it in South America using these little tubes that the scales basically wouldn't leave, and they would build up in the tube. And then instead of like destroying the plant or anything, you remove that and it's filled with scale. And you can just take that all out, and then you can get a new tube and inoculate it with a few scales. and then put that on a new part of the plant, and they would just live in there and be attached to the plant and produce till you harvest that one.
Cochineal condos?
So
basically.
So for any of our listeners that don't know, scale insects are kind of like aphids.
Yeah.
They're small, little, teeny insects that kind of just suck plant fluids and
Or
just
they're kind of
hang
like
out
white
on
flies, if you've heard of those, but they don't fly because they're scale.
There's a whole
insects,
bunch
right?
of different groups in that area, or in that particular branch of the family tree that hang out on plants and just kind of suck plant juices and hang out and do interesting chemical, ecological things, and have really weird
scale
sex
insects
lives.
have sort of evolved right out of their legs. They're essentially just a digestive tract connected to a reproductive organ, and
it's a beautiful life.
Okay, yeah.
I wish I was like that.
So
Right?
because of that,
Yeah, you barely ever move. Find a good place
Right.
to settle down, and
yeah. So because of that,
Until somebody pops you in the freezer.
yeah,
because of that, they're really prone to a lot of predators. So things like ants and ladybugs are actually insect pests of cochineal manufacture. And one of their big pests is actually a predaceous moth, which is kind of surprising. So I ran to my fridge earlier and grabbed a prickly pear fruit.
Beautiful.
Oh, good. We've got like the whole ecosystem going on in this, this podcast.
Go get one of those moths, and then it'll be
Yeah. So for the listeners at home, it's just sort of like a sort of reddish pink oval, and it used to be covered with spines, although those have been shaved off. Not completely. I'm probably going to have thorns in my fingers from this. But if you open it up
We
inside,
appreciate the
it
sacrifice,
is,
Joe.
Yeah.
Ooh.
If you open it up inside, it actually looks a lot like a pomegranate, and the juice is like highlighter hot pink.
yeah.
Beautiful.
So I'm going to
So
be
yeah,
eating this for the rest of the
you can
podcast.
tell that the carminic acid is being produced in the plant as a deterrent to herbivory, and it concentrates in its fruit, which is the extremely important part of the plant where it's trying to create seeds and get those dispersed to create new generations, reproduce itself.
Yep, and
So-
I think they're dispersed by birds.
Definitely not scale insects that are just cheating the whole system.
How would you like to have the job of prickly pear shaver?
I mean,
like
get
there's
me a
worse jobs in
razor
the
and some
world.
fruit every once in a while. I'd be happy with it.
I feel like it's all down to the
Good.
technique. I've seen people do it before, and it's like the people who really know what they're doing. It's just like it's no problem at all.
Nice.
But yeah, I have picked up a prickly pear fruit, not really thinking about it, in a parking lot, and yeah, it was like, okay, cool. The next 30 minutes of my life is going to be picking tiny little spines out of my hand.
Yep.
You moron.
So, and for those of you who wonder what this tastes like, because I'm literally eating it right now, like on camera.
Make us
I'm
jealous.
Actually kind of hungry. It actually does taste a lot like pear.
Nice.
So,
Ryan, you might find this interesting. So here up in the Highlands, there was this indigenous group of people that actually a volcano killed before the Incans ever got here. But they used two plants for dyes, and one of them came out like one of them's a little. I guess they're both little berries. But one of them comes out like blue, like my lipstick blue, and the other one comes out red, like this. And the plant still grows up here. So if you ever want to come to Ecuador, I can show you these plants.
I swear, Nancy
The
plugs.
museum is free.
Yeah, Nancy plugs us visiting Ecuador once a show. So
Indeed. But if you want,
should.
but if you wanted to, like, if you ever get here, it would be really cool to show you because it's like one of the ethnobotanicals here, and like a lot of people are like really proud about it, and it's one of the natural dyes that's still used, and they show you like the color that comes off, and you like pick it right off the plant, and it comes from an ecological reserve in the middle of the city, so it's cool.
that's so cool.
That's really cool.
That's cool that
Ryan-
they get that much from a berry.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Ryan,
it's pretty.
from your perspective, that could be written off as a work trip because
Hell
it's
yeah.
anthropologically important.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Someday
I
we'll take a nature check trip to Ecuador. It'll be great.
Yes.
To
All
play
right.
D&D in my apartment? Oh, that's great. No, we'll just play D&D on the equator. We'll just be like, done.
That'd be
Yes.
so cool. All right.
Yes.
Alright.
Someday when we set up a Patreon, y'all can support
Yeah.
us playing D&D on the equator. Yeah, Eric was thinking exactly the same thing. He says new Patreon tier, equator trip. Yes.
Now the real question is, does the north-south of the equator affect the way the spin of the dice,
Oh my goodness.
Definitely not. Only we're
Right? I mean,
We'll just sit on opposite sides and do like 100 tosses.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you can your dice rolls
Run a
only
Fisher's
count if
test.
they're on the actual line.
Oh no. All
So
right.
here's a fun fact. If you ever do visit Ecuador, there's the Middle of the World Monument, but it's actually not on the equator. They missed by about 300 meters because it was the original French calculation. So, like, they were pretty good for back in the day. But Ecuador is one of Ecuador's best kept secrets, that the Middle of the World Monument is not actually on the equator. You need to go about, like, 300 meters north, I think, to a little museum called Inti Nun. And that's where they actual calculated with GPS.
That is a very fun fact.
Everyone should go visit Ecuador and have Nancy be their tour guide, as evidenced by all of these free samples of information.
Right?
Free fun facts. All right, so that concludes our talk about insect-based dye. Alrighty. I love this bell so much. Things people should not let me have: bells and microphones.
Which you have.
We have a bell exactly like that in my office, and I hate it so much.
I went into the
bell
office
like that
supply
to my
store and
office.
was like, "Do you have one of those bells that people put on their desks?" She was like, "Of course we do." Like, yes.
The only people that ring that bell are like 4-H kids that come in and are like, I need to turn in my paperwork right now. It's like 2 months late, but I need to ring it right now.
Alrighty, so are you guys doing anything else during the recess while the judge is out of the room?
No, I don't think Kay has the mental capacity to do anything but hiccup in the corner.
Kay's just sobbing.
Just kind of like patting Kay on the back, sitting next to her.
Cedric's like trying to make jokes to like try and get attention. Nothing help. Yeah.
You can't.
Do you like somehow
Kay is
can't
still-
hear all of this that's happening?
Like, well,
Kay is
Kay, I
still,
mean,
like attached to Lucanus's arm.
Yeah.
Okay. Out of character, Peter wants to know, is Kay's mom there? Because Kay's parents were like real chill about the fact that his son was on trial for murder.
Well, you didn't actually ever meet them, so you don't know if they were being chill or not.
I know.
But...
Peter wants to know.
Yes, Kay, your parents are in the room, but they did not bring the little ones with them.
Yeah,
but they're there.
Aww.
Yeah.
like, well, Kay, Cedric's shirt is clean. He came in a clean shirt.
Kay like looks at Fletcher and then looks at Cedric, and like, can you see any of the shirt through the chainmail? I'm assuming the chainmail was just.
The shirt's on top now.
Oh, the shirt's on.
Yeah.
She just like looks over and like plops her messy makeup-y face and goes.
Cedric, are you going to try to dodge that, or are you just going to let it happen?
A motorboat happened, man.
Sorry, guys. I'm dealing with a family thing.
Sorry.
So yeah, I'll be right back.
Okay. Well, then he doesn't get a chance to dodge, and his white shirt is just covered in goo. In gooey, messy makeupness.
I was trying to make her like laugh a little bit like at Cedric, but if that made her feel better too, then that's good.
Exactly. So this happens for perhaps 20 minutes, and then Mr. Ron says, "All rise," and the judge comes walking back in and sits down at his desk, and he says, "Mr. Dawson Clark, the court appreciates your diligence in investigating and prosecuting the case, and the court would like to thank all of the witnesses, both for the prosecution and for the defense. We pride ourselves here in New Sechester on distributing fair and equal justice. While the testimony from the witness may have provided the prosecution with a suspect initially, the court finds that there is insufficient evidence to convict Mr. J. Prowell of the murder of Timothy Prendergast. Captain Wells, the court charges you with continuing your excellent investigation in order to bring the actual culprit to justice. However, Mr. Prowell, you are free to go."
Okay, just like collapses in that like pile of tears.
Would you like to know what the judge rolled against your diplomacy?
Sure.
I saved it.
A 1.
A 1.
Oh, he's an awful judge.
He's not an awful judge, he just rolled a 1, but that's okay because it's not like she was lying anyway.
Yeah.
He just like extra believed her. And Janet did a great job too. So
if you do say so yourself.
I mean, she rolled really high. So if I do say so myself, she rolled really high. But yeah, so basically, the guards unlock his manacles and they sort of open the little, gateway, and he's walking out into the population. And
he pushes past everyone and just glomps him.
Yeah, and your parents come over too, and so
your shirt is also now affected by running like that. No shirt is safe.
So I believe Cedric and Lucanus and Fletcher, you actually got a chance to see Jay before. But you haven't really met the Prowells, so you see a man and a woman, maybe in their mid to late 40s, sort of plain hardworking folk, but they both come up and sort of put their arms, so it's the big family hug thing. So there's Kay hugging Jay, and then the two parents around them, and they all just sort of stand like that, more or less silently for a few moments.
Do hiccups and sobs.
And your mom is sort of, doing the pat over your hair, and she just says very quietly to you, "Kay, that was very brave. Thank you for helping your brother."
Kay just mutter something no one can understand through hiccups and tears. Yeah, basically just tears and hiccups.
Yeah, your dad's being super stoic.
One man tear.
One man tear, yeah. Yeah.
He's like, "Is there dust in here or something? Need a cleaning lady."
And eventually, it sort of breaks up, but then Jay sort of gives you an extra hug and says, "Hey, thanks."
You're welcome. Anything from my biggest, bestest brother.
Yeah. I really appreciate that. And Janet is sort of standing, sort of like Lucanus and Fletcher and Cedric, I imagine, sort of awkwardly on the outskirts of this.
Yeah.
And she comes up and sort of looks at the two of you and says, "Yes, I really appreciate what you and your friends did, Kay, for me and my family, and so that the two of us could work to help Jay. I'm so glad you're free."
Yeah.
Is everything okay?
That means a lot to us.
Everything okay, Peter? We're good. All right.
Are we all good, Peter?
Yes. Everything.
Yes,
yeah,
we're all good.
It sounds like everything is okay with my family and Kay's.
And Kay's.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. He missed the big reveal.
Yeah.
He missed the big reveal.
Kay's family is okay, and that's what's important. Yeah. My family's minor medical issue is fine.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh goodness. So yeah, Jay looks at Janet and is like, "Do you want to maybe not be in here anymore? I'd kind of like to not be in here anymore." And she's like, let's go get you some food or something. But she stops again and takes you by the hand, Kay, and says, "I don't really have much. I mean, I guess you sort of know that now. But I know that you all are perhaps going out to do some adventure-y type things, and that you have sort of a dangerous job ahead of you in order to help us. So I'd like to give you these, if I can, to maybe help a little." And she is putting in your hand a gold necklace with an amber stone pendant, a matching gold bracelet, and small gold earrings with amber stones dangling from them.
Oh,
This is all I have, really.
Thank you so much. And she just gives her a big hug.
And she hugs you back, if a little awkwardly. It's like she's not super used to, in her more formal life, being that sort of casually.
Her shirt is now also skin.
Yeah. she was trying to wear a nice outfit, but it's not so nice anymore. And then she takes Jay by the hand.
Sure?
And they leave.
This isn't anything super special to you or
My
anything,
feet
is
cut
it?
out for a second.
Oh yeah, no, you're fine, Joe.
So my feet cut out for a second. What did she give us?
She was giving Kay some jewelry.
What did she give us?
Some jewelry.
She gave me.
Yeah,
Kay some jewelry.
Yeah. Oh no, it's not
nothing.
anything. It's not anything super sentimental. It's just I hate being able to say that, but no, these are not anything that I'm going to not anything I'm going to miss, but I'm hoping maybe they could help you in some way. And I'd rather give them to you than, well, you know.
Yeah. Thank you.
Of course. And then she takes Jay's hand and...
You take good care of my brother, though.
Of course. I will.
Just saying.
And he just kind of like... He chucks you on the chin, or on the cheek a little bit, and he's like, hey, you know I can take care of myself. I have to take care of you.
What was all of today about?
I know. And then he just walks away doing this. Yeah. He just waves. And your mom has like the corner of her apron like up against your face, like, honey, it's okay.
Yeah. I want to go to bed.
Okay. And she and your dad are gonna.
Thing in the morning.
Yeah, she and your dad are gonna go back to their store.
You slept last night, peasant.
Ooh.
Some of us were worried.
Ooh. Yeah, it's like midday at this point. I know I sort of like ran through it because I didn't want to be talking to myself for 3 hours, but you know what I mean. Like it's you know, it was a trial.
It's great podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the DMs hate it when they have to like have very long involved conversations between NPCs in front of you guys. It's the least comfortable thing ever.
Just talking to yourself.
I mean, it's a hobby.
Storytelling. I liked it.
Thank you. Okay, but yeah, so we did the trial thing, so it's like midday-ish now, so it looks like Jay and Janet are gonna go off and have lunch or something. Your parents are going back, so they're gonna, you know,
I'm gonna go
they
back.
hadn't had the
I
store
wash
open
my
for the morning.
face and like flop into my bed for at least a little bit.
Okay, cool.
Hope everyone's all right with that. I don't care if you're not. I'm flopping in bed for a couple hours.
Flopping in bed for a couple hours.
After I wash my face, lest my sheets be scathed.
Oh, so you were okay with mussing Cedric's shirt, but not your sheets and your pillowcase. Okay.
Definitely.
Wait, was it my shirt or was it Lucanus' shirt?
No, it was
It was your shirt.
Lucanus is scathed.
Your freshly clean shirt.
Yeah, you
This
missed
is what
it.
happens
But,
when I leave.
yeah.
I leave for 5 minutes.
Because Fletcher was like, oh, look at least Cedric has a clean shirt. And she just, like, glared at him and then, like, flopped her face into your shirt and went...
But you missed that, too.
Okay, wait. To lean your head on my shirt you had to, like, bend double to do.
Yeah,
She,
I
like,
literally
motorboated you.
planted into you to, like, purposely attack
It
your
was
shirt.
not comfortable consoling at all. This is when you were on your knees.
And flop.
And
The impossible
you
is
have to-
possible.
You have
Right.
to remember that Lucanus. You have to remember that Lucanus doesn't really wear a shirt, robes, and
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No one has ever felt consoled putting their face on somebody's naked.
Well, no, he didn't say he was naked. He just said he had, like, his leather armor on. He doesn't have, like, something soft on. Yeah.
No, leather is the worst because your face like.
Stick.
Oh,
the
ew.
robes are soft.
Oh, I thought you said you had taken your robe off, but you did say you had your hood on when you walked in the door. So, yeah, I guess you do have your robe on.
Yeah. I had. Well, I was like concealing all my weapons from like people just in case some shit went down.
Right.
Because we don't know what the DM has planned.
Well, Cedric, let's head back into the inn and maybe try to wash that shirt out again.
It was so clean. You made it so nice, and I mean, obviously, Kay is distraught, so it's all, I wouldn't hold it against her, but you just got it clean. I just feel really bad. You went through so much effort.
Eric in the chat is like, anyone know prestidigitation?
That's what I did.
Fletcher literally cast that spell once already this morning on that same shirt.
Well,
Let's
just try to not let it set this time and get it washed.
Slaps it on.
Lucanus, what?
Lucanus picks up a big clod of dirt, slaps it on Cedric's shoulder, and he's like, "It's okay, buddy."
One of our merch options should just be a shirt with various stains on it.
It's just blood and makeup.
The $1
makeup,
Patreon
dirt.
pledge is a randomly stained shirt.
Oh, you know what? We should make it like one of those like
Real
business
talk,
polo
y'all.
shirts with a name tag and have it say like Cedric.
No, they could be old fieldwork shirts. We could just like raffle off our shirts from fieldwork.
Real talk, y'all.
Uh-oh.
I own like 300 stained t-shirts.
That
I haven't gotten rid of a t-shirt since high school, so if you guys want a
seriously.
t-shirt with a weird stain on it.
Now we know where Cedric gets his not being good at laundry thing from. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny
$10
because like
pledge on
our
Patreon.
Patreon is like our Patreon reward tier is gonna be like Peter's garage sale.
Eric says we're getting dangerously close to Japanese vending machines, so let's just cut that there and go somewhere else.
Yeah, that's kind of where I was afraid of the direction it was going.
All right, so Kay is going home to.
Eric, send me a DM. We're good.
Kay is very good at just like unceremoniously leaving and not telling anyone where she's going.
Yep. So you went somewhere, but I know you went home to clean up and take a nap, an emotional nap. The boys are hazing Cedric. You guys want to do anything else?
Poor Cedric.
I just want to keep hazing Cedric.
He's such an easy target.
He really is.
You're punching down. I mean,
Literally.
Literally.
And figuratively.
Literally.
Literally.
We buy you lunch at the inn, get you a bowl of soup, just immediately knock it over onto you.
He gets paid
That
for
was
something and
Fletcher.
Fletcher just
I
takes
didn't
it like
do
lunch
that.
money.
Leon from behind the bar is like, no food fights.
So, whatever happened to that guy that was gonna pay us to go adventuring?
The fish
That's
guy?
a good question.
No. The guy that you were talking to, Fletcher. The academic type.
That one.
With the papers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
Oh my god.
racist dragon.
Wait, hold on.
Cyrus Bean.
Are you guys having this conversation as you walk back to the
I think
bar?
his name was Cyrus Bean.
No,
Yeah.
well, I believe Casper is stationed at the academy that's being built. But until that's done, I'm sure we'll run into him in the inn again at some point. If not, we can probably go find him at the academy if we find anything interesting or of note. He mainly wanted geographical and topographical information as he's trying to chart out Arda.
Do you think he'd be interested in these birds that we're supposed to be going investigating?
He might be. I know he'd certainly be interested in, the layout of these forests to the west. So, as we go out there, if there's any land features of note, I believe that's what he's most interested in. And we, of course, have to go to the river as well.
Yes, right, the river. The other thing that we were going to do for Kay's family.
Wow.
Hopefully it's not just all the fish are dead now.
I should hope not.
Because there was a problem.
There was a problem.
Don't eat the fish.
Well,
The fish sucks.
what?
Don't eat the
It
fish. The
still
fish
tastes
sucks.
bad.
Yeah. What are we going to do for the rest of the day? What do y'all want to do?
I mean, we could. I don't know. Kay's pretty much out of commission, and she knows her way around better than any of us.
I love how no one knows where I live either, so no one can come find me.
That's
You're
true.
so secretive.
You didn't tell them
Or
where
you were just like,
I,
bye!
I was like,
I don't know.
I mean,
go into
they
my
could probably ask.
They could
Like-
find out.
You're
That's
like
like,
dying out.
But I feel like you've been through so much today that you
Aw.
like. It's probably just like you need some like time and space.
I love Fletcher.
Fletcher's the
Fletcher is the
sweetest.
MVP of this game.
And I figure you probably don't want to see Cedric right now.
Or
In my
maybe she
newly-
does for an emotional punching bag.
Kay and Cedric they're gonna be best friends.
They are going to be best friends.
They will
probably.
I feel like that's how it always starts.
Can
I
we
don't-
go investigate this fish thing without Kay? Do we need her for that?
You mean split up the party?
Already happened. You're past that point.
Yeah, Kay already
true,
split from the
but
party.
still.
She
We'll be
split
leaving
long
the
ago.
city.
I mean, do we know how to get to the river?
I
We
think
can
it's just-
ask.
we go along the
Oh, I
coast.
hope I am not cutting out.
No, you're there.
No, yeah, we can hear you. We just weren't interested in what you had to say.
Wow.
Oh shit! Now he's actually cut out.
I
Now
almost
feel
attacked y'all
bad.
characters.
I swear these people actually like each other in real life.
Joe, come back!
Now he's back.
He's back.
I didn't catch any of that. Mike.
I was being mean to you and you weren't here. And now I feel bad about it.
Wait, you
Yeah,
feel
I'm
bad
back.
because he wasn't here to hear it, or because he left?
Yeah!
Well,
Yeah,
you see,
because if
that's
you make
the
fun of
thing.
someone to their face, it's all just
Yeah,
joking. But
that's
if you make
the
fun of
thing.
someone behind
You
their
can't-
back, then you're serious.
Yeah.
Nancy gets it.
You can't,
Been there.
you can't hurt my feelings unless my feelings are here to be hurt, guys.
Yeah.
That's how you insult people.
That's what I was
thing
thinking.
101.
No, it's like if you say something behind someone's back, like you mean it. You actually like mean those mean things that you're saying. But if you say it to their face, and you're kind of like you're just joking and teasing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, see, I always mean the mean things that I say.
Awesome. Well, you're kicked out of the party.
Good to know.
Aww.
I never mean any mean things I say, and I've never said anything mean, so.
Well, I know that's a lie.
Shut up, Brian!
First of all,
You keep
Oh.
your mouth shut!
Oh my god.
You can tell.
This is what happens.
Cedric, you can tell when Peter's lying because, like, his beard, like his mustache and his beard just get pointier. A little bit like Pinocchio, just a beard.
Like a
face.
cartoon villain.
This is what happens when you get 5 random people from the internet into one shared internet space.
Well, and y'all said you were in a mood from the get-go, and now that
Yeah.
the emotional tension of Jay's life being in peril is over, everybody's just like, ooh.
Yeah.
I've been up since like 5 o'clock doing all kinds of stuff today.
That's what Saturdays are for.
I'm wiped.
I drove a moving truck from Washington, D.C. to North Carolina today. I feel you.
Was that you or No, that wasn't Cedric.
Cedric drove a moving truck.
Cedric couldn't reach the pedals.
Well, he might be able to reach the pedals, but he definitely won't be able to reach the wheel.
Well, yeah, you can't, like, you can
Yeah.
reach the
You can reach
pedals
both.
or look
One
over
or
the
the
windshield,
other,
but you
yeah.
can't do both.
I
He's,
can
like,
just
using a
imagine
stick.
Cedric getting, like, really creative with phone books. And Hammer just in the seat next to him on a road trip, wind in his hair, just having great conversations with the Moradin Hammer.
You know, other
Right.
D&D podcasts have done, like, Critical Role did this, and Dugongs and Sea Dragons is planning on doing this, where they make, like, PC playlists of, like, you know, music that character would listen to. Now I feel like we
I
need
love
a
that.
Cedric road trip playlist.
More like a Cedric doing laundry playlist.
Laundry montage.
Well, but that playlist would never exist because, I mean, technically you just did his laundry.
Yeah.
And he owes you, like, Ryan, he owes you, like, 4 or 5 quarters, something like that.
Mhm.
Well, I'm not doing it again.
I will totally. I will. If people want it, I will totally put together a.
Oh my goodness.
It's gonna be all like hymns,
Yeah, right.
chanting.
No. Church camp songs.
Oh goodness. Oh goodness.
Our God is an awesome God.
Oh
See,
goodness.
See, Lucanus's playlist would be like a lot of heavy metal, some Bad Religion and Dead Kennedys mixed in there for good measure, and then just Call Me Maybe by Carly Rae Jepsen.
And the Pirates of the Caribbean theme.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so what are the three of you doing?
I mean,
I'm just eating at the
Apparently
at the Twitter
talking
bar.
about dumb shit for the rest of the day.
Yeah. Well, so
yeah. If we're just like we're sitting there eating lunch, I think Fletcher, he's been spending time like taking his notes and researching the other plant that we found, the unknown plant. So he probably like he's done it before. He always just like did it away in his room while like studying it, but I think he probably brings it down so like while they're all there together, he's like continuing work too.
okay.
Lucanus is eating and drinking a beer, and he's doing good. I don't know what he's eating, but
Something, whatever. Bar
barbecue
snacks.
pork. We'll just say smoked pork with a
Peanuts.
mustard barbecue sauce.
Oh,
which is
barbecue.
typically-
Ye
which is
oldie.
typically similar to what I had. for lunch
Mustard,
today.
you're gonna bring that shit
Oh
on
God!
our podcast.
Oh no!
Mustard.
We're veering away from this too. Kay left, and the boys don't know what to do with themselves.
Right?
You know what?
The DM lays out
Peter,
all
why
these
don't we
delicious
do-
plot hooks, and the boys are like, "We're gonna sit at the bar and talk about stupid stuff because we don't have the girl to like give us direction."
Yeah, you know what, Peter? Let's just save the barbecue talk for a nature chat.
Oh my goodness!
Everybody put it on your calendars. Nature chat next week.
Oh, we're doing this tonight then. Okay.
Oh man, okay.
Barbecue and pesticides.
Barbecue should.
Pork.
Ew, that does not sound like a good combo.
Pork and pesticides. Oh, I actually have a good story about this.
What?
Pork and pestilence.
Tune in next week to hear Peter's interesting story about pesticides and pork.
Oh god.
Yeah.
Oh god. Yeah, you doing anything else? Cedric, do you want to do anything about your wardrobe, or are you good?
He has
I mean,
an
I've got
oversized
a new
t-shirt
shirt.
now.
I've got
He has the boyfriend shirt. Oh my god.
He has a what?
He has the boyfriend shirt because I gave him the giant tunic.
Yes. Kay is my boyfriend now.
Oh,
Is that how that works?
You guys heard him here now.
Isn't it like
Does that work?
her dad is your boyfriend?
No.
Because it's his shirt?
See,
Nope.
I like
I'm
to
okay with
think of it. I like to think of it as like he's wearing one of those dresses that happens to just be a shirt. Like, have you seen one of those?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're called boyfriend shirts.
Yeah.
Oh, are they?
Or t-shirt
Yeah.
I
dresses.
thought.
Or t-shirt dresses, yeah. It depends on how
Okay.
fitted they are
Mhm.
versus how oversized they are. So
Yeah.
I'm assuming this one is going to be oversized on Cedric.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So
I
it is
didn't
a
know they were the
boyfriend
same
shirt.
thing.
I mean, he's thick.
It's because you can, like,
So it's-
buy pants by pockets and actual numbers. Ugh.
Yep.
Yeah, I have like male privilege just for my clothes alone. It's like the whole pocket situation with, and I'm being 100% serious.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
the whole pocket situation with men's pants is like, okay, so women's pants in field work. I have seen women's field pants that do not have pockets, and one, that outrages me. Two, like, how do you make that work?
I have a badass leg pouch that makes me look like Laura Croft that I got at Dragon Con.
Well,
That's how
that's
I
cool.
fixed that.
Okay.
I just bought like backpacking pants from like REI that, you know, they zip off, so when I'm done with field work I don't have to drive home in the pants, I can drive home in the shorts. And
Yeah.
they've got zippy pockets on both thighs and regular pockets in the front and pockets in the back that have like a snap close. So yeah, like you have to work hard to find them,
Okay.
but they exist. Yeah.
Okay.
And then when you find them, I bought one pair in each of the two colors that they offered, because when you find something that works, you buy one in every color.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Especially
that's true.
field pants. Anyway, sorry for the aside.
No, that's
I
alright.
just do my jungle tours in, like, bug dresses because you wear whatever you want out in the jungle.
Nice.
Bug dresses?
Yeah, it's
Dresses made of
dresses with bugs on them.
Dress is made of bugs.
Oh, okay. So yeah, okay.
It's like a hummingbird. It's like a hummingbird nest, Peter. But Nancy collects spider web and then puts bugs in it.
Yeah, I saw like beetle shells and feathers and stuff I find in the jungle, like a princess.
I know we're making fun, but like, how cool would that look?
I mean, again, yeah.
I mean, with Nancy designing it, we'll make it work.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'll buy that.
Yeah. I just like the idea of you making clothes out of the decorations of my childhood bedroom.
I've made hair ties out of vines, if that counts.
Oh my gosh. The character that I played on a previous D&D game that was live on Twitch was a half-orc girl from a roving orc band, and in 5th edition you get like a background that helps tell things about your character, and because she was like basically like a barbarian, not the class, but the actual people roving around, I forget what like an outsider, I don't remember exactly what the background was, but one of the qualities of the background was that you have one item that is a trophy from your own hunting and trapping. So I gave her, because she was like really obsessed with her personal appearance, she had a scrunchie made out of a chipmunk. I'm just picturing something similar with Nancy in the jungle.
So actually, there's this like abandoned island that no one lives on, and I found a sea lion skull on it, and I took the teeth from it. So I should have them made into a necklace. That can be my trophy.
Wow. That's amazing.
That is really cool.
I'm not sure if I'm supposed to have them, but there's no rules here. Whatever.
Yeah. You just never bring those back into America.
Yeah, never. No, they stay here. But yeah, I have like sea lion teeth. Like you find like sea turtle skulls wash up all the time on the beach.
Super cool.
Lots of dead stuff is interesting.
Oh
anyway.
So are Lucanus and Cedric and Fletcher going to do anything, or are they just hanging out for the rest of the day?
I feel like we're just waiting to hear from Kay.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's like we're kind of like I think the assumption is just kind of like we're like, today we're on her timeline. Like it's not really like
we did good over the past few days.
Nice.
We deserve a vacation.
We know that we'd like track you down and bang on the door and be like, "Come on, we need to go."
Aww.
Yeah. I think they're just gonna day drink.
Day drink. Solid.
I'm not
Lucanus saying that, or Peter?
Cedric.
He's a cleric of Morden. They advocate for day drinking.
Yeah.
As do I.
I mean, Lucanus is eating beef jerky right now? Fletcher's like, oh, I'm looking at this plant. Real good.
Okay, are you planning on joining them, or are you going to take the rest of the day off?
Yeah, maybe like around dinner time she'll like wander over there. She should probably say thanks for, support and stuff.
Okay.
Aww.
So yeah, we can fast forward to then. So it's like early dinner time, and Kay comes into the Marked Bird.
She like flops at the table. Hey guys, I just wanted to say thanks, for all of your support, for like signing your life away to a debt that's not yours, and like running around the city and supporting me in general and my family. I do really appreciate it. So, thanks.
Anything for a friend, and if this new lady turns out to be anything like Wargen, the whole thing is going to be ridiculously easy to get out of anyways. Plus, if she takes my possession, they're not going to be able to take my weapons, and 1 gold, yeah.
Well, I appreciate your positive outlook on the situation.
Yeah. How do you guys think we should move forward on this?
I don't know. Apparently there's parrots to kill and fish to find out why they're dead or bad or whatever. I think they're both west. They're both west, right? They are. They're both west. So
Lucanus just shrugs. Surveillance. That's all we can do.
So make a knowledge local or knowledge nature check, whichever you'd prefer.
I think my
Nature check.
I think my
I feel like we should have like a I don't know, some kind of sound.
Well,
effect.
my
Sound
knowledge,
like a sound bite that you can press.
Yeah.
my knowledge nature is nada, so I'm gonna go with the local.
Cool.
Which was a solid 10.
A solid 10, nice and average.
We're recovering from our stressful day.
Yeah, so so when you were talking about the fish and you got your net, maybe like 2 sessions ago now you got a net. Yeah, so you did talk about where the river is, and the easiest way to get to the river, would be like going sort of out of the north part of the city and then kind of heading northwest. Because if you head straight west, you would literally hit like the fort and then the water. So that wouldn't work. But yeah, if you go kind of like north of the city and then sort of curve to the northwest, you'll get to the river. And then what Siwan said was that the parrots that she wants are in the forests to the west. So you could assume that maybe on the other side of the river there are forests.
So, should we just make this one big outing? Keep going past, figure out the river, keep going till we find these birds?
I'm
Yeah,
for
it
it.
makes sense to me.
How do you capture a bird?
You just sing at it or tweet at it, I suppose, and it'll come right down to you.
We should be able to use your sling, Cedric.
Or bows and arrows,
Yeah, that.
Magic.
I mean, if we want to kill them, that would...
mage hand.
Lucanus reaches back and just sort of tugs on his crossbow as like confirmation. Like, yes, I have something we can use.
No, I'm looking at my weapons. How did you know that I have a sling?
Huh?
I think you mentioned it once.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you did.
You've used it in battle before.
Yeah.
We'll also have a net for the fish that we could, instead of in water, hang up in the trees and try to flush birds into it.
Mist netting.
Mist net.
But
Yeah.
not a mist net. It's like way, like the
It'll be,
rope is way bigger.
I'm assuming these are big birds. Maybe they're not.
It's a foggy net.
They're very, very bad eyesight. Blind birds. All right, so next session we're going to discuss mist netting and how that works.
I guess.
And
You can discuss it when you try it.
Okay, so are we heading out into the dark?
At
Well,
night?
that's
No, it's like dinner time.
Yeah, like we should
Oh.
eat and then like sleep and then go in the morning.
Yeah, I'd be like, how about we just spend tonight celebrating? I'll buy you your first drink, Kay.
Oh, fancy.
Aw.
Make it something super sugary.
Super sugary.
I go and ask Leon for one of his special super sweet drinks.
Is she getting an apple teeny?
Well, I don't really do specialty drinks, I guess. I have wine, and I have ale, but I don't really do specialty drinks. There are
just take some wine and put some sugar in it.
There-
How hard is that?
there are other places in town where you can go for something, I guess, like that, but I don't have that here.
So this bar has less selection than the rundown Lux rum.
I mean, he has more different kinds of wine and like better quality wine. He just doesn't have like apple
Does he
teas
have
or whatever.
mead?
Does
Do
he
you have a mead?
I do.
Do you have a mead?
Yes.
Mead.
Yes.
I'll take 2 meads.
Okay.
So I can go back to the table. I have 1 mead and I give the other one to Kay.
Okay, that's 2 silver.
You're like, I guess, sip at it.
I love mead.
For our listeners, mead is
Oh, goodness.
topical for a group of entomologists because it's made out of honey.
It
which is
is.
Honey.
by bees.
And it's so good.
Fermented honey.
I love it.
Some of it is super good and some of it is super gross.
Yeah.
But what you like.
Peter has feelings, apparently.
Can't wait until you guys
Never.
find the specialty drinks.
You've
You've only tried one so far. I put so many specialty drinks in this world, like
But none at the inn where we're staying.
no. They're like Easter eggs in a video game. They can't be at the spawn point. You have to go find them.
Now we have to see if we can find all of them
Gotta catch them all.
and get some
Gotta
kind of
catch 'em
chivo.
I know, right? Well, there was a comment
be...
before about like whether or not to do shopping episodes on screen, but like honestly, I put so many like little random things in this game that I kind of hope you do because
it might be fun to make up some cocktail recipes based on some of these.
Well, darn it if you didn't just steal the secret, Joe.
I would just like to. I would like to put this out there that, like, maybe if you had made the very first specialty drink that we ever had deal, like, 30% of my hit points in damage, maybe I'd be a little bit more of a risk taker.
Outright killed Cedric.
Some of the other specialty
take
drinks
3 shots and die.
I
mean, Everclear does the same thing to me, man.
Yeah. Hammer beer. I think that's one that we found that was actually like somebody else had written it up, but a bunch of the other specialty drinks we made up on our own. We being myself and my husband, who is infinitely useful when it comes to creating things for this world.
That's what husbands are for.
At least one of the things. You guys doing anything else with your evening besides drinking? No?
Nope.
Not at all? Okay.
Nope.
No, we're just partying and having a good time.
Partying and having a good time. All right. Well, thank you so much to everyone who's been watching and in the chat. Waryoshi, Eric, who's the other person? Oh, Misty21.
Misty?
Yes,
Yeah.
Thank you. I think that you might have been a first-time chatter, but thank you for being here. We really appreciate everybody who stops by and learns and laughs with us. Again, you can find all of our socials down in the reference section. Down below the doobly-doo on the YouTubes or on the Twitch or on the podcast in the description. So please follow all of these lovely people on the social medias, and you can catch up with us on our YouTube channel for the nature chats and other random things. The next time that we will be back playing will be Saturday, October 12th, and that will be a From the Annals of History game. So if you caught our first From the Annals of History game, that was Joe and Peter and our 2 special guests, Eric and Emily, playing some of the crew members on a Tenebrian naval vessel approximately 20 years before the main game storyline. And did anybody catch the Easter egg that was a connection to From the Annals of History in tonight's episode?
I did.
You did. Excellent. You or the viewers.
I wasn't there, so I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm gonna miss the next one too.
I'm not gonna spoil it for anybody.
Oh, all right. Well, Joe's not gonna spoil it. So if you didn't catch the little call out to From the Annals of History in tonight's episode, I recommend you go watch the previous From the Annals of History episode, and then watch when we're back on Saturdays, October 12th, and then also go back and have a re-listen to tonight's episode, and maybe you'll find it. But yeah, other than that, and also, we've been sort of messing around with the idea of live streaming some video game play on this channel on the Saturdays when we're not doing D&D. So stay tuned for that. Everybody's volunteered a whole bunch of games, so we'll be doing video game play and talking about the science in the game while we play. So stay tuned for us to start doing those broadcasts as well. And also, if you're going to be in St. Louis, Urban Chestnut on November 16th, you can meet us IRL. It's going to be great. Anybody else?
think our new slogan should be "Learn with us and laugh at us."
Oh goodness! Learn with us and laugh at us.
Some of our episodes, I feel like it should be Feel the Bromance.
That too. There's a lot of that happening. Lots of. Oh my goodness!
I wanna plug a book real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Will My Cat Eat My Eyeballs? This was I just want to plug it real quick. I'm quoted in this book
because you're in it.
Yeah.
I did an interview for this book about like a year ago, and then was halfway through reading it. when one of my friends texted me and was like, "Hey, you're quoted in this book," and I was like, "What?" And so I skipped it forward a little bit and found a quote by myself. But it's a fantastic book. It is big questions from tiny mortals about death. So it's written. It's children's questions about death, and then a scientist answering them. So if you're interested in that kind of thing,
That's cool.
highly recommend it.
And if you
That is fascinating and morbid. I love it.
And if you haven't heard of Caitlin Dowdy, the author, before, she's insanely cool, and she's written at least 2 books prior to this. And she also runs a YouTube channel and a website. So the YouTube channel is Ask a Mortician, because she is a real-life practicing mortician.
I know her!
Yeah,
I don't know her, but I watch her YouTube channel.
I met her at VidCon. She's so cool.
Oh,
She's
awesome.
also insanely tall, but she's super cool. So yeah, she runs Ask a Mortician, the YouTube channel, and the website is called The Order of the Good Death. So it's all about death positivity and helping people have conversations about death and dying, and stuff like that. And yeah, her 2 previous books and this new one are all really good. So definitely check out all of her stuff all over the place on YouTube, Twitter, the website, the books. Yep. Once again, I am the Roving Naturalist on YouTube. I hadn't made a video in a few weeks because grad school is hard sometimes, but I published a new video today. So we're gonna try to get back on that. It's all about aposematism, which is one of my favorite, behavioral ecology things to talk about. So warning colors and why bugs and other animals have them and how they work. Joe and Nancy are part of the Ask an Entomologist team. We've got Ask a Mortician and Ask an Entomologist. That's good. How's Ask an Entomologist going?
We're behind on questions again, as always.
Oh.
Summer's hard. We have so many questions.
Yeah.
The wheelbug questions are starting now.
Joni,
Yeah.
Nancy, and I are all
Wheelbug
swamped with-
season.
Yeah.
More bugs.
Joni, Nancy, and I are all just swamped with other responsibilities. I'm swamped with my grad work, so is Joni, and Nancy has a very wildly successful business to run. So.
True story. Yeah, so if nobody else in the chat has any questions and nobody else in the cast has anything else they'd like to pimp tonight, then I guess we'll take a break until you see us next time. But thanks everybody for watching and or listening, and we will see you later. Bye.
Bye.